Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Landon with you on this Friday afternoon. The first show of the new year. 2026 is here, and it started out with a bang yesterday with 3 college football playoff games. First 2 games kind of underwhelming, surprising both of them were, but underwhelming if you wanted good games. The third game, one we will talk about a lot, between Ole Miss and Georgia, a thrilling game, a game where Ole Miss ended up winning late down in New Orleans. We'll talk a lot about that. I mentioned no Brett with us right now. He is traveling back from that game last night in New Orleans. He will join us at some point this afternoon. I'm not sure exactly when. It really depends on traffic and things of that nature, but he will join us at some point this afternoon. So we'll talk a lot with him about what happened last night and kind of everything else as he'll join us at some point. But Landon Schmidt is with me this afternoon. What's up, Landon? Happy New Year. Did you ring in the new year in style?
No, not really.
Okay.
Just kind of a chill evening, gathered with some friends, watched Superfast. I don't know
I'm not familiar with that.
Well, if you've seen the Fast and Furious movies,
Okay.
this is
I've seen some of them.
This is a parody of, I guess, Fast and Furious 1 through 5.
Okay.
Very, very funny movies. If you like parodies, this is right up your alley. So just watch that and then kind of just chilled into the new year.
Are you one that you watch the Times Square ball drop or
Not anymore.
Now on CBS they have Nashville. They do a music note that drops at midnight.
Nope, I didn't catch any of that.
Catch any of
I
that?
I think I used to, but then I don't know. I just guess I don't care.
I'll keep an eye on it. They have a lot of musical performances that are fun to watch, and I'll.
Did you watch the Ryan Seacrest?
That's the one at Times Square. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but you just mentioned Nashville.
Yeah, but I said Times Square before. I was referencing both of them. But I watched a little bit of that. And they have a bunch of musical acts, so I enjoy some music. So I'll keep an eye on it. If there's somebody I like
enjoy music
performing, I'll watch their little set. Are you a New Year's resolution guy?
I actually talked about this with Jay, Darren Wolo and friends today. There goes our buddy, Lincoln Pear.
I can never tell which
it is very difficult, but look at him go.
Oh, yeah, we'll
nice
talk
little,
about this
nice
one,
little touchdown. But
other bowl game.
But no, I've never really been huge with New Year's resolutions. I don't know. I just kind of let it play out. I don't really make any grand proclamations to really change anything. I just kind of. That's already happening in my life.
Yeah.
So
I think New Year's resolutions, I think goals are good. I think people should have goals.
Goals are great, but
things
don't
to improve on.
Well, I was also telling Jay my biggest worry is the people who do decide to want to get back in the gym, and want to get back into the routine of all that stuff, which is great.
Sure.
Don't want to knock that, but
Speaking to me.
but then for people who have been in the gym for a while have to deal with the bigger crowds, deal with the people who don't know gym etiquette very well. It can be a bother.
Here's a pro tip, and then we'll actually get into sports talk.
Of course.
Pro tip here, and this is somebody that every year I'm like, I'll get back into the gym. Give it 2 weeks. Now obviously somebody like you that's in the gym every day, you can't give it 2 weeks. But for me, if I'm like, okay, this year I want to get back in the gym more, I'm not going to go on January 1st.
No, nobody
I'll go on,
did.
January 15th.
Fun tidbit for you. The gym I go to is open New Year's Day.
Well,
nobody was in there.
What? I think you go to gyms that I know at least one gym you go to, and I can assure you, nobody that's starting their New Year's resolution is going to that
nice
gym.
It is kind of a nice
That's
thing.
like a gym of hey, I work out a lot. I'm going to start going to this gym. So I don't think you have to worry about people like me that just go to the
they still
gym.
They still infiltrate, and by they I mean the people who sit on their phones and wear fingerless gloves and Crocs.
Okay, well, hopefully everyone's having a happy New Year, and hopefully if you are doing New Year's resolutions, you can stick with them. A lot of bowl games today, bowl games that people are going to watch, but, probably don't matter right now. Georgia State and Rice. We've got the AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
Texas State.
What did I say?
Georgia State.
Texas State. I think I just saw a guy on here that just picked up an offer from Georgia State. I saw their logo. But yes, Texas State and Rice right now. Texas State all over Rice 34-7. We've got the AutoZone Liberty Bowl coming up here in just about 30 minutes or so. Should be a fun game between Navy and Cincinnati. You've got SMU and I believe Arizona later tonight in the Holiday Bowl, and then Mississippi State Wake Forest at 7 o'clock. Both those games tonight starting at 7 o'clock, so should be fun. But all eyes over the last 2 days were on the playoffs. 3 really weird, strange blowout games, and then we got an unbelievable game last night with Ole Miss and Georgia. It started on New Year's Eve with Miami and Ohio State, a game where Miami won 24-14. It was another game where we talked about this Miami team and how great the defense has been playing. You go back to that game at Texas A&M where the defense was huge and really neither team could get anything going offensively. Texas A&M couldn't find the end zone at all. They played really well again on New Year's Eve against Ohio State, a 24-14 win for them. Then yesterday, triple header, Oregon all over Texas Tech, 23-0. Alabama, they get destroyed in the Rose Bowl. Indiana with a 38-3 win in that one. And then the thriller that we will talk about a lot, Ole Miss with a 39-34 win over Georgia. Something I didn't understand, and look, I'm no weatherman, but all week I heard, oh man, it's going to be ugly at the Rose Bowl. It's going to be raining. It's going to be the threats of tornadoes. I mean, it's just going to be a mess out there. And then College Game Day was out there in the morning, and they were talking about how it was going to be rainy and a mess. And I think I saw a tweet. I didn't watch much of College Game Day yesterday, but I saw a tweet, and it was like Pat McAfee reacting to somebody saying that the heavy stuff wasn't there yet with the rain. And so I was expecting, like, okay, we're going to get this super ugly, super messy, super rainy game. And it was none of that. It was actually a very clear afternoon.
Looked beautiful at the Rose Bowl.
Were you surprised with what Indiana did to Alabama in that game, the way that it played out?
No. I mean, honestly, I was not. I know the hype was, this is Alabama, SEC team. They're going to go out. They're going to do their thing. But like I've been saying, this is a different Indiana team from last year. They're definitely no nonsense. They're going out there doing their job. But we saw in Alabama's win over Oklahoma, they still had no rushing attack. And a lot of that is attributed to Indiana's front guys and their defensive line, able to shut down the run and do it effectively. I think Alabama's top rusher was, 17 yards? And that's you just can't get anything done if that's what you're producing. And both of their passers, I know Ty Simpson went down with an injury, so obviously that's going to hurt. Austin Mack still came in and out-threw Ty Simpson for the time that he was out there, but Alabama just didn't look good from the get-go. I know they started that game looking really well. Their defense got a couple sacks on Fernando Mendoza, but then it was just all Indiana. It was almost like they had their way with them. So not really surprised. I just didn't think Alabama was the better team from the get-go. And so for Indiana to do what they did, I think to win by that big of a margin, especially with how historical that loss was for Alabama in regarding their postseason play, definitely a huge shocker, but still, I can't say I was too surprised with how good Indiana did.
Yeah, I mean, I think when we made our picks the other day, I think I said Indiana's going to win this game, but Georgia covers, and they weren't anywhere close to covering this game. And you mentioned it was kind of more of the same for Alabama, just could not get the run game going, and we've seen a lot of that this year. But, it felt like the first half gets done, and Alabama's not able to move. You mentioned that shot Ty Simpson took, and really, the way that it played out, because the hit he took was in the first half, might have been in the first quarter.
Yeah.
And he still played, but you could tell he was not anywhere near 100%. And so they kept saying on the broadcast, well, they're taking him out because of that injury. But it just kind of felt like, okay, Ty Simpson, he's banged up, he's not playing well. We're not going to win this game. Let's put in Austin Mack and see what he can do. He looked good in his.
I think he did about as well as you could expect.
Yeah, he looked fine.
Somebody to step into that role to do.
Yeah, he was fine in his brief stint, but it kind of unraveled in that second half, and Indiana was able to run away with it. Last night, Ole Miss and Georgia, though, was the game of the playoffs so far. A 39-34 win for Ole Miss. This was a game that featured really good quarterback play from both sides. Trinidad Chambliss, 30 for 46, 362 yards, 2 touchdowns. Gunnar Stockton on the other side, 18 for 31, 203 yards, a touchdown. Both teams ran for more than 100 yards. Ole Miss had 2 receivers with over 100 yards. It was a back-and-forth game where, Ole Miss comes out. They take a 6-0 lead with 2 big-time field goals, a 55-yarder and a 57-yarder. And then Georgia responds. They go up 21-12. And then here comes Ole Miss again. They storm back. They take a 10-point lead. Georgia responds, able to tie it up with a touchdown, a punt, and then a field goal. And then kind of the craziness that happened at the very end of that game where Ole Miss gets a receiver wide open, about a 40-yard reception, and they're able to get into field goal range, knock down the field goal, and then just the chaos that happened with the safety, and everyone thought it was done there. The kick after the safety that no time ran off with 1 second, and then the final play where they're just throwing it around all over the place, flags all over the place because they're very clearly throwing it forward instead of backwards.
Yeah.
I felt bad for the people that were wheeling the stage out. I mean, they kept showing them.
The game ended 3 times.
Back out. I mean, it was crazy. But Ole Miss, a huge win for them, kind of everything that has surrounded the end of the season for them with Lane Kiffin leaving, Pete Golden coming in, all the talk, even before the first-round game against Tulane of what are they going to do, how are they going to look with all the coaches gone, what are these players with eligibility remaining thinking, are they going to go to LSU, are they going to be locked in for this playoff run? Well, so far they have been extremely locked in through these first 2 games, a massive win for them over Georgia. Now they will advance. They will play Miami. Indiana will play Oregon, and we will see who ultimately gets to the national championship game. It's going to be 4 teams that I don't know how many people had any of these 4.
I know I didn't.
In the Final Four. I think I have my bracket somewhere. I can tell you.
The only team I had is Indiana.
Maybe I had Oregon. I'm going to try to find it.
I think you did have Oregon.
I want to say I did. Let me see if I can find if I have it with me. Here we go. This is the one that I didn't write stuff down on. I don't know where the one I actually wrote stuff down on
Very
is.
good.
I think I had Oregon.
We'll speculate.
We'll go
I think you did. I feel pretty confident
we'll go
in
that. But we'll talk a lot more about the playoffs and kind of what went down over these last 2 games, because I thought a lot of takeaways from all of these games, some really weird stuff going on with some of these top teams. I'm sure you've seen the stat that's going around where the teams that have first-round byes
terrible.
Are like 1-7 or something
1-7.
like that. I mean, it's insane. The only team to win is Indiana with that monster victory yesterday over Alabama. Outside of that, it's been a lot of losses, and a lot of those games have been really ugly. I mean, outside of the Georgia, I didn't go back and look at all the final scores. I saw some people talking about it yesterday while these games were going on, but a lot of them have kind of been lopsided games. So something to keep an eye on as we move forward with the college football playoffs and this expanded college football playoffs with the byes and how that's affecting teams. We'll talk a lot more about that at about 4:30 or so. A lot has happened over these last 2 days. Since we last spoke, the Tigers started conference play with a win over North Texas. It was an ugly game. We'll talk a lot of Tigers at 5 o'clock with Jason Munn's Tigers back in action tomorrow afternoon against Rice. And then the Grizzlies, a really fun game. Unfortunately, a loss for them a couple nights ago against the 76ers. That was Tuesday night, that loss on NBC against the 76ers, a game where Ja Morant was phenomenal. Cedric Coward was awesome. Ultimately, they are able to, it goes to overtime. Grizzlies just couldn't close it out against the 76ers team that played well. VJ Edgecombe was really, really good in that game. So we'll talk a little Grizzlies. They're back in action tonight on the road against the Los Angeles Lakers. So a lot going on around the world of sports, especially in this area. We will talk a ton of it. But let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. At 3:30, Alan Bell from Driving the Line. He'll join us. We'll talk a lot of wagering with him. We'll focus on these NFL games. Week 18 gets started tomorrow. A pair of what should be really fun games tomorrow afternoon. Then we'll get a lot more action on Sunday this week because week 18 and wrapping up to get the playoffs set. No Monday night football game this week, so you'll have the 2 games tomorrow, the rest of the games on Sunday. We didn't have a Thursday night football game either, so it'll be a lot of action on Sunday. Should be a lot of fun, but it is going to be weird. It's going to be something we'll have to talk about with Alan Bell because, I mean, mostly everything is pretty set with the playoffs for the NFL, and so I've been seeing a lot of people talking about some of these lineups that we're going to see, some of the guys that are sitting this weekend, how ugly it can be from a gambling standpoint. So we will talk a lot about that at 3:30 with Alan Bell. 3:45, we'll talk Grizzlies. We'll go back and talk about that game against the 76ers, a really fun game on NBC. Unfortunately, a loss, but they're back in action tonight against the Lakers. I believe back-to-back games against the Lakers over the next couple of days. 4 o'clock, Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insider and CBS Sports. He'll join us. We'll talk a lot more wagering with him. We'll get into some of these bowl games, get his thoughts on the playoffs, get a lot of picks from him from both college and the NFL. We'll also probably touch in with the NBA and college basketball as conference play all across the country getting started on the college side of things. I don't know if you saw, and we'll probably get into this a little bit with Bruce Marshall, and it's certainly where I'm beaming. I'll just go ahead and tell you where I'm beaming. Michigan is playing USC tonight. It's at Michigan. Michigan is Michigan's undefeated and ranked number 2 in the country. USC has 1 loss on the season and is ranked, I think, like number 23 or 24, somewhere in that range. Yeah, they're ranked 24. So the number 24 team in the country is on the road against the number 2 team in the country. A combined 1 loss between these 2 teams. Do you know what the line on that game is? Do you know how much Michigan is favored by? I'll go ahead and give you that Michigan's favored. Do you know how much they're favored by?
14.5.
22 points.
I was going to say 23, but I thought that was too much.
It's insane. How in the world is a ranked team playing another ranked team that only has 1 loss on the year, and they are 20-point favorite tonight? That is incredible.
Well, there's a lot of, and we'll pick them later, but there's a lot of NFL games this weekend that kind of have questionable lines as well.
But still, that's the NFL. Like I was trying to find, like, when is the last time 2 ranked teams have played
who is
each other?
USC? Like who did they beat?
Oh, that's the thing. You go into it, USC probably shouldn't be ranked. They haven't played a ton of great teams this year. Their 1 loss is against a team outside the top 25. So but still, like, it's just, it kind of makes you like jump back a little bit when you see
that is still
2
pretty
ranked
hefty.
teams play.
Even between that, it should be kind of what I guess.
Well, because I was trying to look up, like, in history, what is the biggest spread for a ranked-on-ranked matchup in college basketball? And I couldn't find much for basketball. I found a lot for football, but it was like, Alabama was playing whatever team in the SEC championship game, and they were a 21-point favorite.
Maybe like Missouri or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Both teams were ranked, something like that. And both teams were ranked because they were in the SEC championship game, and they were a huge. And I was still sitting there going, okay, but also, like, that's 3 touchdowns is a lot. I understand that.
Yeah. But
3 touchdowns versus 22 either 2s or 3s, like, that's a big difference. So I couldn't find anything on the history, but we'll have to
pretty hefty line.
Oh man, it is a huge line. We'll get Bruce Marshall's thoughts on that. A lot of picks from him at 4 o'clock. 4:30, we'll get back into the conversation of the college football playoff games. We'll go through all of these games, talk about what stood out for us, and the types of wins we saw. Again, a lot of upsets over the weekend in the college football playoff quarterfinals. 4:45, we get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Jason Munns, the Tiger basketball beat writer over at the Commercial Appeal. He'll join us. We'll talk a lot of Tiger hoops with him as Tigers kicked off conference play with a win over North Texas. But it wasn't pretty. Now they'll go on the road and play a Rice team tomorrow afternoon. As always, Jason Munns, presented by Jim's Place Grill in Collierville. 5:30, we'll get to our First National Bank and Trust Friday football forecast. And at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Moe's Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. The hot tub and swim spa clearance sales, they're going on right now at Family Leisure. Hot tubs starting at $24.99. Swim spas at $14,999. And in-stock patio furniture now up to 50% off. Hot tub covers are starting at $249 with spa steps and cover lifts starting at just $99. Special financing is available. If you mention this ad, receive a free gift with a hot tub purchase. So head out there to Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40. Want to remind you can be a part of today's show. Hit us up on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line, 901-360-8255. Would love to hear your thoughts on anything and everything going on in the world of sports, especially with those college football playoff results that we saw over the last 2 days. So hit us up, 901-360-8255. And as always, this first hour brought to you by our friends over at Lexus of Memphis. It's a new year. Should mean a new vehicle for you or the family. Head out to Lexus of Memphis. I know Brett tells you each and every afternoon about the great deals that they have over at Lexus of Memphis. So head out there and check out all of those beautiful vehicles that they have on the lot. But let's go ahead and get to top story of the day.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, it's got to be the college football playoff quarterfinals. It started on New Year's Eve with Miami getting the big win over Ohio State, a 10-point victory in a game where really Ohio State offensively couldn't really move the ball. They really struggled against that Miami defense that has looked really, really good most of the season, especially over these last couple of games. You look at the first half drives for Ohio State, it's what really jumped out to me. First drive, 3 plays, punt, -7 yards. Second drive, 4 plays, a punt, 16 yards. Third drive, 3 plays, an interception that was a pick 6, 53 yards total for that drive. The fourth drive, a 5-play punt or a 5-play drive that resulted in a punt, 24 total yards. The next drive, 3 plays that resulted in a punt for 1 total yard. And then their best drive of the first half, 12 plays, but it resulted in a missed field goal. So you saw when they were able to move the ball, get some drives going, it resulted in a pick 6 and a missed field goal. Outside of that, short drives that didn't result in many yards, resulted in a lot of punts. As a team, Ohio State, 3 for 10 on third downs, just couldn't find any answers offensively. And on the other side, for Miami, Carson Beck was good, and that's really all Miami needs him to be, is just be good. He was 19 for 26 for 138 yards and a touchdown. The Hurricane ran for 153 yards and a touchdown on the ground. So a big-time game for Miami. In the second game, Oregon with a 23-0 shutout win over Texas Tech. And I was shocked after we've seen Texas Tech all season long. We've talked all year about how great this offense has been for them. For them to go out and look like that and really just not be able to move the ball at all. I mean, it was really similar to what we saw from Ohio State, but much worse. Morton, who's been really good this year, he was terrible. 2 interceptions for him. Brandon Finney Jr. had both interceptions for Oregon. As a team, Texas Tech only ran for 78 yards on the other side. That Oregon offense looked good. They were able to move the ball. They were able to find the end zone. Talk about great offenses. Indiana, 38-3 over Alabama. They were able to do whatever they wanted to do against the Crimson Tide in a game that we really haven't seen in a while from Alabama. It really feels like those, especially those big-time games under Nick Saban, they found ways to win them. They found ways to win them big, but not in this quarterfinal game. And then the best game so far of the playoffs, Ole Miss and Georgia, a big-time win for the Rebels, and what Trinidad Chambliss was able to do, what both those quarterbacks were able to do. Both of them just came up with big-time throw after big-time throw. Both looked really good. Quan Lacey, we haven't mentioned him yet.
Yeah.
He was awesome last night, and when it mattered, that Ole Miss defense came up with some stops, so a huge win for them. You had the chaos at the very end of the game, so a huge win, and now Ole Miss heading to the semifinals.
Yeah, absolutely. My top story's right there with you, the college football playoffs. I don't think anyone, at least I haven't met anybody, who has their bracket looking like what the semifinals looks like right now, having Indiana, Oregon, Miami, and Ole Miss moving to the semifinals. It's very exciting, and I think we're going to get a little bit of a snippet of that with the NFL playoffs too, because all the top dogs that we thought were not really going to be in there this year. But with this, Indiana continues to make history, being the only team to win following a bye week, all while giving Alabama their biggest postseason loss in quite some time. Miami's defense completely shows up up and shows out against Ohio State, and what was a shocker for many. Texas Tech couldn't even get on the board against Oregon, even though their defense showed up early and fast in the start of this game. Their offense, like you said, produced absolutely nothing for this game, and the one drive that they did have, Morton just made a terrible throw into the end zone, right into the hands of Finney, who was just absolutely incredible for Oregon. And the biggest and best game from last night, the Sugar Bowl, where Trinidad Chambliss looked absolutely incredible in the Rebels' huge upset win over the favored Bulldogs. This now makes Pete Golding in his starting his head coaching career 2-0 with records against Tulane and Georgia, which is a mighty good resume so far for Pete Golding right now and this Ole Miss Rebels team. So now we have the stage set: Indiana, Oregon, Miami, Ole Miss. But the question now is for the teams that are, since the transfer portal is open, they can now make the most of what we're looking at here. So the big question is, what are these teams that lost looking forward to in the transfer portal? You got Georgia, Texas Tech, Ohio State, and Alabama, pretty big name programs. So what are their biggest needs? Well, coming into the offseason, Georgia's likely going to seek some wide receiver help to help out returner and Gunnar Stockton. I know they have a few people who have mentioned they're going to hit the transfer portal, like Zachariah Branch. I believe they're expecting him to move on and go somewhere else, so you're going to need some help there. Alabama is losing some big starters at the linebacker position and the offensive line, and depending on how the draft shapes up and how the transfer portal looks, we'll see what they attack there. Texas Tech is high on the market for transfer Brendan Sorsby of Cincinnati, which honestly to me, huge shocker, because I haven't heard a lot from him. Of course, he was injured, but this dude is basically your perfect makeup of what you want a quarterback to look like at any level. So they're going to be attacking him, and with their big NIL deal, they're definitely looking to beef up their D-line once again. And Ohio State is a very selective team when it comes to the transfer portal. They kind of pick and choose, and a lot of what they're going to attack is going to depend heavily on how draft picks look out and how the transfer portal shapes up to see who they need to replace in those starting roles. So as the season continues and as we get closer and closer to the transfer portal really picking up, we'll see what these teams are going to look like.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, it is Tiger basketball. They started conference play with a win over North Texas. It was a game that featured 20 turnovers from the Tigers, really poor shooting from both three and the free throw line. But at the end of the day, it was a win. The defense looked good against a North Texas team that just looked really, really bad. My favorite thing from the entire game was North Texas. They have a first-year coach that came in after being the head coach at Cleveland State the last couple of years, and he's really trying to emphasize the defensive side end of the court, trying to force turnovers, get takeaways. Every single time Memphis forced a turnover, the coaches on the bench, and early before they got down by double digits, a lot of the players, they would all jump up, start cheering, they'd all go, T-O for a turnover. I loved it.
Terrell Owens.
I loved it. T-O. So I started doing it with them. I mean, I think it's hilarious. Kind of corny, but hilarious. Tigers get the win, though. Now they'll hit the road against a Rice team that got beat by 49 points in their first conference game over the weekend against Tulsa. So this is a Rice team really struggling. And for the Tigers, could be another opportunity for them to get another win in conference play, continue to build some confidence as we start to get deeper and deeper into conference play.
Yeah, absolutely. Just real quick, my not top story is the transfer portal opening today for college football. And there's a lot of big names out there when it comes to mainly just the quarterbacks who are entering the portal right now. Like I mentioned, Brendan Sorsby has got to be the most sought-after guy. I know Indiana wants him. Texas Tech wants him. A lot of guys want this guy, and it's not hard to see why. 6'3", 235 pounds. He's still got 1 year remaining. I mean, this dude is everything you want in a quarterback. Great dual threat, good decision-making. Definitely one of the best quarterbacks in the portal right now. You've got Sam Levitt, Drew Mestemaker, who I'm pretty sure we all know he's going to probably end up at Oklahoma State with his coach, but we'll see who else makes a good claim for him. Trinidad Chambliss still looking to get that extra year of eligibility, and we'll see what he decides to do. Byron Brown out of South Florida, we'll see where he lands. Just a lot of guys in this transfer portal. I mentioned DJ Lagway, leaving Florida with 2 years left. We'll see what he can do in the portal, but a lot of big names out there, and this is kind of just the day and age we live in with college football, is that you can't really get too attached to these guys with these teams, because sure enough, the next year they're going to be wearing something different.
No, yes, they absolutely will. It's going to be busy. I mean, all the names that are already out there in the transfer portal, going to be a lot of movement all over the country. That'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's get to our first break. And when we return, we're talking some wagering. Alan Bell from Driving the Line. He joins us next.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With over 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Gail?
When I retired, I just let all my taxes pile up. I had gotten many threatening letters. The one that said they were going to try and take my property was probably the scariest. When I found out that I owed close to $300,000, I was in total shock. It was a bad situation. I didn't know what to do.
Then Gail found tax relief advocates.
When TRA told me I was only going to owe $368, I just was in total disbelief.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Gail did and call TRA for a consultation.
I was so blessed with TRA.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-581-5329. 800-581-5329. That's 800-581-5329.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Landon with you this afternoon. We got to talk some wagering. Joining us now to do that, Alan Bell from Driving the Line. He joins us every Friday to talk some wagering. Alan, thanks so much for joining us. A lot of games to get into, a lot that has already happened that we need to talk about. But I'm curious, with Week 18 getting ready to get started tomorrow, obviously there's a couple of games that are big in terms of teams making it to the playoffs or not making it to the playoffs. There are some games that obviously impact teams winning divisions, different seedings in the playoffs. But it feels like largely a lot of the playoffs are already set, and you're seeing a lot of teams and a lot of reports out there of guys sitting, teams not playing certain guys. When it comes to the gambling side of things, how difficult is Week 18? What are you looking at in Week 18 kind of differently than the previous 17 weeks?
Yeah, great question. All right, first off, appreciate you guys having me back. Second off, all right, so be very careful because it is very dangerous out here. You're going to have a lot of teams with a lot of players that really aren't playing all that much, to be completely honest with you. They're kind of going through the motions, right? So be careful with that. However, like you said, these games where we have teams that are playing for seeding, now, not saying that you can predict exactly what's going to happen because this season's been crazy, but yeah, you're going to find a lot more at least consistency there.
Yeah, no, I think you absolutely will. But I mentioned there are a couple of games that are big in terms of making the playoffs or not making the playoffs. One of those games tomorrow, the first game of the weekend actually, the Panthers and the Buccaneers. Right now, Tampa Bay at home, a 3-point favorite the total 43.5. What are you liking in this game?
Look, man, I love Baker Mayfield. I think everyone does. But this Tampa team, I can't trust them at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. And not that we trust the Panthers all that much either. But I give them credit, man. That team is fighting. They're 8-8. Give me Carolina +3. I understand Tampa's on the road, but like you've seen, like we've all seen, Baker is extremely banged up. This team is banged up. I think this is just going to be a kind of a mercy in for them. Give me Carolina.
What have you seen with this Tampa Bay team? Because like you said, you can't trust them. It was such a great start to the year, and it felt like, okay, this could be a big year for the Buccaneers. And since then, they've looked awful, and it just seems like every week it kind of feels like, okay, this is a good opportunity for them, whether it's home, whether it's away. They're just not finding ways to win. What are you seeing with this Buccaneers team really over the second half of the season?
Yeah, this drop-off has been, injuries, right? But specifically, Baker, one of them. But number two, the wide receiver position has just been decimated, all right? And then their offensive line starts to go. So now you become a one-dimensional team, and when you have to run the football, everybody knows you're running the football. When you got to pass, everybody knows. So that's just been the problem. And, they're not the only team. Every team in the NFL deals with injuries, but it's just hit them in the exact spots that just bring a team to its knees, man.
Yeah, Alan, another game that for many might fly under the radar has got to be this Titans and Jacksonville Jaguars game. I know the Jaguars doing way better than the Titans are this season. I mean, they've got everything rolling. They've really got nothing to lose as far as their playoffs hopes looks and clinching the AFC South. But one thing about the Titans going into this game is that since they joined the AFC South back in the 99-2000 season, they have never gone 0-4 in division play, and now they're at risk of doing that for the very first time if they do not beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. With that, what are you seeing from this game, and do you think the Titans have a chance to win it?
They definitely have a chance to win it. Look, Tennessee's playing good ball. That game last week against the Saints, anybody that watched that was treated to a nice football game. Now, like you said, the Titans season, it is what it is, right? And that record, in the division, that's a crazy stat. I didn't know that. That's a great stat. Good pull right there. That's a big thing. Now, here's the problem. Jacksonville's really good, and they need this, just to finish this regular season right. So, do I think Tennessee's going to win? Probably not. That being said, though, you could give me the over 47.5 in this game because Jacksonville's going to score, and Tennessee's going to score too. I think Tennessee's going to bring it because I really like the energy of this team. So, yeah, I'm not going to take that, but I'm also not taking Jaguars 13.5 on the spread either. You can give me the over because both teams will be scoring here.
Yeah, no, I think it will be a lot of points in that one. The other big game this weekend, Ravens and Steelers, it was moved to Sunday Night Football for obvious reasons, winner go home game, and obviously the winner wins the division. Right now, Baltimore on the road, a 3.5-point favorite, the total 41.5. I believe Lamar Jackson is going to play. He was back at practice yesterday, but obviously a lot of this has to do of what he looks like out there, how healthy he is in this game. But what do you like in Sunday Night Football?
Yeah, my goodness, do we have a Sunday night game for the division, for the playoffs, and two teams that, quite honestly, we can't really trust. What was Pittsburgh doing last week, losing to Cleveland? I understand the Browns that played. Yeah, it's like the Browns, they played better, but it's not like they scored a bunch of points, right? I was so surprised by that. But then again, this season, nothing surprises me. Give me Baltimore here. I just feel like Lamar Jackson playing, I can trust it. Even with Huntley behind him, if he has to come in, he's not bad. I give the Steelers credit for where they're at, but I just don't know if they have this one. And then the biggest question is that what happens if the Steelers lose this game? Yeah. Is this the last one for Mike Tomlin? Big question. And not that Harbaugh's having fun over there in Baltimore this year either, but I'll pass to see what happens with Pittsburgh. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm hoping it's the Steelers. I may or may not have a preseason play for the Steelers just to make the playoffs at
nice.
Plus 250. Yeah. So we're holding out hope on the Steelers to get it done. But I think we're seeing, or at least we saw last week, how big of a hole the Steelers have without DK Metcalf out there. With him having this suspension, that offense just looked out of whack last week. They'll have to play again without him this weekend, and they've got to find some more weapons to go to without DK out there.
Yeah, and that's the problem, right? Is that this team was playing really well. They were playing excellent considering what the roster of this team is. But, yeah, then you take away the biggest chunk that they need to get chunk yardage. Just an absolute brutal time to do that. And you're right, man. That's a big loss for sure.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. What are some other games that you're keeping an eye on this weekend?
Well, I want to see – all right, now I want to see this Chargers-Broncos game because I want to see what in the world these two teams look like, okay? Yeah, I want to see that. And then again, if you want to see a fun game, Cowboys and Giants. Now, I understand that it's not going to mean a lot to anybody, but these two teams always – like Cowboys and Giants games are always fun. So I wouldn't be surprised to see points there. But, yeah, dude – there are some really tough spots in the NFL. Just be careful this week.
Yeah, no, it is. It's going to be really weird. One game that I am curious your thoughts on. You mentioned the Browns earlier and their win last week against Pittsburgh. They're a 7.5 point underdog on the road against the Bengals. It's a 6-10 Bengals team. Had a nice win last week against Arizona. Total at 44.5. Anything you like in Browns Bengals?
Yeah, look, I'll be honest, man. I think the Browns had their quote-unquote Super Bowl last week, and I think that Cincinnati, hearing Joe Burrow and all that, I don't know. Like, I wonder where this team is, but I know that they're going to score points. So I'm going to take the Bengals, but again, in a game that just doesn't really matter, be careful. But I think the Browns, their Super Bowl was last week. I think they might be checked out this week.
Yeah, it's just so hard because you really do not know what to expect with any of these teams out here. Last game, I'm curious your thoughts on in the NFL. Lions and Bears Sunday afternoon. Right now, Chicago, who they've been so much fun to watch this season. They're a 3-point favorite at home against the Lions. The total 50.5. What do you like here?
This is a pride game for Detroit because look who's on the other side of the head coach.
Yep.
Yeah, look, man, I'm going to go with Chicago here. They're only a 3-point favorite, and I totally get it because there's not a lot for Chicago to move around. But I don't care. I think Chicago's going to put it all over Detroit, and the only person that revenge thing matters to is Dan Campbell. I think the Lions players are checked out. Give me Chicago here. I think they handle business.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Over in college football, a couple of bowl games tonight, Arizona and SMU, Wake Forest and Mississippi State. Anything you like in these two bowl games?
Yeah, and look, again, be careful in these bowl games because they're even crazier. Yeah, exactly. Look, I think Arizona and SMU, I like the over 51.5. I think that we're going to have points, and I don't think there's going to be a lot of defense play. And then Mississippi State, you can give me them -3, take it on Wake Forest. Again, nothing against the Demon Deacons here, but I think Levy and crew for Mississippi State, that thing will be up. And quite frankly, the SEC could use a win in bowl games. So, yeah, it's just Ole Miss doing it. Other than that, yeah, so we'll see. But I think Mississippi State comes out tonight.
How about this? I'm seeing on DraftKings right now, Mississippi State a 2.5 point favorite. So getting it under 3, I think, is even better. So you can avoid that push if they win by a field goal. So 2 games that should be a lot of fun tonight. I don't know how much you've looked at the semifinals next week, but anything that's jumping out to you kind of early on either of these 2 semifinal games?
Yeah, we have looked at them. What in the world do we do with Miami and Ole Miss? I know. I don't even know what to do with that game yet, but I'll say this. As much as I like Oregon, I think Indiana is built for this, and I think they're ready. So if you give me Indiana -4 today, I'll take that. I'll get back to you on Miami and Ole Miss because, my goodness, that game. There's just 2 dreams coming true. It has to feel like a fever dream for both of those families.
Yeah, and it's one team in Miami that has done it with their defense, and another team in Ole Miss that's done it with their offense. And so I am really looking forward to that one next Thursday night. But Alan, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you again next Friday.
Hey, you boys too, man. Appreciate you guys having me. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Alan. Alan Bell from Driving the Line. He joins us every single week to talk some wagering. We talk a lot of NFL with him. We also get some college plays from him. Tough, though, with Week 18 and kind of all the craziness that is happening with these rosters and guys playing guys not playing, but giving us some bowl picks as well. Make sure to go over and check out Driving the Line. You can find it on YouTube. They do a couple daily shows every single day giving you picks for pretty much everything out there: football, basketball, baseball, even a little soccer. So if you want some plays, want some bets for any of those sports, Driving the Line and Alan Bell, they have you covered. Well, we need to get to another break. When we return, the Grizzlies, they're back in action later tonight on the road against the Lakers. We'll talk about that matchup. We'll go back. We'll discuss the loss earlier this week against the 76ers. Don't go anywhere. We're talking Grizzlies next on Sports Time.
Not only can you listen to your favorite shows on Sports 56, you can also watch video of the shows live on Twitter and YouTube. Watch and listen every day at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Listen up, Rebel fans. Your next winning drive starts at Landers Ford in Collierville. Their game plan is simple. Find you the most savings possible. Make a trade, lower your payments, or let them buy your vehicle even if you don't buy from them. That's how you keep moving the chains. Just like the Grove on game day. Fans all across the Mid-South keep coming back to the #1 Ford dealership in Greater Memphis. See them today in Collierville or online at LandersFordMemphis.com. When you own a Landers Ford, you get the support of a certified service tech with the Landers Ford Remote Service Experience Program. They pick it up, drop it off, or fix it on the spot, so you're never left watching from the sidelines. To finish the drive, the iconic Landers Easy Pass always brings more for your trade and the biggest discounts to put you in victory formation. And now, straight from the 1977 Ole Miss football team that took down #1 ranked Notre Dame, the final snap of the day from Landers Ford President Don Kitchens.
If it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
As reported on Ford's 2024 Total New Vehicle Retail Sales Report, Memphis Market.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about everything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys, beyond the bottle, Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's and learn more at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Take your basketball skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis. Shoot 360 is a revolutionary basketball training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with gamification and provides instant, objective feedback with hands-on, one-on-one expert coaching. And now, introducing Shoot 360 Cordova, a newly renovated 50,000 square foot facility with 2 NBA regulation-size courts, 3 high school-size courts, and 4 shooting bays with Shoot 360 technology. Memberships are now on a monthly basis. And yes, you can become a member at both locations. Whether you're an aspiring young talent, NBA player, or looking for a unique workout, all skill levels are welcome at Shoot 360 Memphis to learn proper shooting and passing techniques, improve fundamentals, and gain a competitive edge while having fun. Shoot 360 Memphis, now in Cordova and Collierville. Call them today at 901-779-3176. That's 901-779-3176. The future of basketball training is here. Shoot 360 Memphis.
I say this all the time. Insurance companies aren't in the business of protecting you. They're in the business of protecting their profits. Their number one goal, avoid paying any claim they can get out of. These policies, home, life, and auto, are written in legal jargon on purpose, not for clarity, for confusion. Buried in that fine print are exclusions, loopholes, and coverage gaps you'll never catch on your own. You might think you're covered, but you don't actually know. Most people only find out when something goes wrong, and by then it's too late. That's why you should look at My Policy Advocate. Upload your policy. Break it down. It does so in plain English, telling you where you're covered and exposed and where your insurance company can deny you. Right now, through the end of the year, it's just $79 for an entire year, practically nothing. And it could save you tens of thousands of dollars when life happens. Don't leave it to chance. Go to mypolicyadvocate.com. Take 5 minutes. Make sure you're actually protected.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Landon with you. I just got word from Brett. He's going to try to join us around 4:30 or so as he is making his way back from New Orleans. So he'll be with us here in about 30 minutes or so. We're going to talk a little Grizzlies. Again, they're back in action tonight on the road in Los Angeles against the Lakers. But we do have a little bit of news coming out of the Ole Miss world as it's being reported by On3 right now, about 30 minutes ago, that Austin Simmons, the Ole Miss quarterback, plans to enter the transfer portal. He will be entering the transfer portal as a grad transfer with 2 years of eligibility remaining. Simmons plans to finish out the season with the Rebels. So, smart move on his part with the portal opening today. If that's what you're planning on doing, to go and enter the portal, you need to go ahead and get your name out there. Obviously, worked with the rest of that Ole Miss staff to say, hey, you can enter your name in the portal. Go ahead and start that process, but also stick with us the rest of the way. So Austin Simmons heading to the portal, but will stay with the team the rest of the way. All right, getting to the Grizzlies tonight against the Lakers, but on Tuesday it was a loss on national television, an overtime thriller of a game, 139-136. The final score is the 76ers beat the Grizzlies. A really fun game. I thought the Grizzlies played extremely well, 55% shooting for the Grizzlies, only 38% from three. They were 11 for 29 on the other side. The 76ers made 15 threes, but the biggest story of the game, by far, Ja Morant's best game of the season, 40 points, 16 for 22 from the field. He was 0 for 2 from three, got to the free throw line 10 times, went 8 for 10, had 3 assists, 2 steals. Just a really good game from Ja Morant, and he was playing with energy. He was playing kind of like the old Ja Morant. I was watching the game, but I wasn't somewhere where I could listen to it. I was at a restaurant for most of the game, and so couldn't hear it. But I heard Greg Gaston talking about it the next day on Wednesday and saying that on the broadcast, on the NBC broadcast, that they were almost kind of talking about it like, this is a vintage Ja Morant game, just because the way he looked, it looked like he was playing with energy, playing with joy, playing with, looked like he was having fun out there. And it's something that has been questioned a lot this season with Ja Morant. Obviously, injuries have played a big role as well. But Ja Morant looked really good. Cedric Howard looked really good, 28 points for him. He added 16 rebounds, just an awesome game from both of those guys. And if you can get more of that, I'm not expecting a 40-point game every single night out from Ja Morant, but if you can get where he at least looks like that, where he's playing like that, maybe it results in a 20-point game, whatever it might look like. But if you can get that Ja Morant out there consistently, avoid injuries, you have Cedric Howard continue to improve the way he's improving, you could see a lot of really fun games from this Grizzlies team.
And I think you nailed it. It's got to be consistent because, we've had games like that in the past where we've seen Ja go out for don't want to necessarily say just a one-night show, but sometimes it is that way. So if we can get Ja into a place where he is going out there, it looks like he's having fun, playing his heart out, not, like you said, not expecting those 45-point games, but doing what, a quote-unquote superstar for our team should do, and that's kind of doing what Luka's been doing this year, and that's either getting close to or over 30 points every game that he's going out there on the court. So you definitely want to see your playmakers get to that place where they are leading. They are making those plays. They are getting those big points and getting those assists, rebounds, all those kind of things. So if we get that, I think we're in a good spot. And kind of on the other side of the ball right now, the Lakers kind of in a little bit of a down spot in their schedule. I know they're losers of 4 of their last 5, but like I just said, Luka's still playing good. You still got LeBron out there. I think the defense is where it's weak. So honestly, these back-to-back games kind of up in the air. I could see it going either way.
Yeah, and you talk about those losses. This is a Lakers team dealing with a lot of injury. Austin Reeves, who's been really good this year, he's out with a calf injury. Rui Hachimura, who has played extremely well against the Grizzlies, he's out with a calf injury. Jared Vanderbilt, he's a game-time decision tonight with a leg injury. So they've been missing some key pieces, but LeBron James is going to be out there. Luka Doncic is going to be out there, and so it's going to make for a tough opponent for the Grizzlies. And so, curious to see what it looks like. But again, going back to what we saw, in that last game with Ja Morant, can you get a similar performance from Ja Morant where it looks that way? I think it's been said before that, especially over these last couple of years where Ja Morant gets up for the big games. He gets up for the nationally televised games. Can he get up in a road game against the Lakers? I think this is a good opportunity for him to do that. What kind of Jaren Jackson do you get tonight? What does the rebounding look like? DeAndre Ayton has been a guy that the Lakers went out and got because they just needed some sort of center presence, and he's played well this season. He's leading the team right now with nearly 9 rebounds per game. What does it look like on the road against this Lakers team that right now 20-11, so well over 500, but like you mentioned, lately have been struggling. We've talked a lot this season about the way or the games that this Grizzlies team have won. It's been a lot of wins over teams that are at the bottom of the conference and teams that are under 500. Can they go out, no matter if this is a banged up Lakers team or not, kind of get one of those wins over a team that's currently over 500? I think would be big. To have it happen on the road, I think would be a big game tonight. Right now, the Lakers a 4.5-point favorite at home, and obviously with this game being in LA, going to be a late start, 9:30 tip-off for the Grizzlies and the Lakers. It'll be on FanDuel Sports Network. And then after tonight's game, they'll turn around on Sunday and play the Lakers again. So back-to-back games against the Lakers before they return home for a good home stretch. We talked about this kind of the before and the after European trip where they're going to come home. San Antonio, Phoenix, Oklahoma City, Brooklyn, 4 home games in a row before they go to Europe to play 2 games against Orlando. Then they return Atlanta, New Orleans, Denver, all at home. So 4 games before at home, the 2 international games, and then back for 3 home games. So it'll be a lot of Grizzlies at FedEx Forum. We'll see what they can do in these 2 road games. But that home stretch before going to Orlando, not going to be easy. Again, San Antonio, Oklahoma City in there. Phoenix has been a fun team this season. Brooklyn's a game that you should feel pretty good that, that's a game that you can stay in and get a win. But we'll see what happens later tonight for this Grizzlies team. But we're about to get to a break. Before we do that, let me remind you it's a perfect time to head down to Olive Branch and check out Frontier Western Store. Family-owned and operated since 1967, Frontier Western is your one-stop shop for all the biggest brands in Western wear. The one-stop shop for Carhartt in the Mid-South, but they've also got you covered with plenty of other brands when it comes to shirts, shorts, jeans, outerwear. Whatever you're looking for, they've got it in stock. If you need a new pair of jeans, Frontier Western is the place you need to get to. They've got all the biggest brands from Ariat all the way down to Wrangler, and you'll love how easy it is to find the perfect size and style for you. While you're down there, check out Frontier's world-famous boot showroom. Whether it's work boots or dress boots, Frontier has you covered for the entire family with plenty of in-stock proven classics like Ariat, Dan Post, and Durango, and that's just to name a few. Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know you'll be getting the best deals. Head down to 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Check out the entire selection. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. for Frontier Western Store. Let's get to another break, and when we return, we're talking more wagering. Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insider and CBS Sports, he joins us next.
It's 1948 in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgos. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar based. It's now available in a 32-ounce jar. It's so good to baste or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or at our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef, and she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from a Mediterranean diet or a steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meats. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper was more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with a perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at the Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it.
A beloved family affair and still going strong since 1948, The Rendezvous.
Uncorked flavor, Corky's barbecue. We're cooking it up, down home way. Hickory smoke flavor like the good old days.
Hey y'all, Jimmy Stovall here with Corky's Barbecue. Catering is our specialty. Memphians have trusted Corky's to cater their events for 40 years because we make it easy for you and delicious for your guests. Whether it's 50 people or a crowd of thousands, our experienced team comes to your location, sets up, serves, and ensures everyone enjoys a Corky's all-you-can-eat barbecue buffet starting at only $7.99 per person. You can't beat it. With 40 years of experience, it's easy to see why customers choose Corky's time and time again for all of their catering needs. Visit Corky'sBBQ.com to book us for your next party.
Uncorked flavor, Corky's barbecue.
You know, sometimes I wish I had a gun.
Well, I'm armed, but before I bought one, I still went to Top Gun Academy to learn to protect myself without a gun.
How is that possible?
Top Gun's personal protection training. It's perfect if you want to protect yourself without firearms.
I don't know.
And it's perfect if you feel the need to carry a gun for self-defense, because the last thing you really want to do is shoot.
That is scary.
Not at Top Gun. It's very comfortable, and you learn to load, handle, and shoot a handgun safely. Protect yourself. Go to Top Gun Academy. They're at 2770 Winton Road.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Only available with TurboTax experts. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, with John Harden, weekdays from 11 to 1. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Back in Sports Time, Bryant Landon with you. Brett will be back with us at about 4:30 or so as he's making his way back from New Orleans following that Ole Miss victory. But we got to talk some wagering, and we do it at this time every single Friday afternoon with Bruce Marshall.
Joining the guys every Friday is college football historian and Vegas legend Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insiders, CBS Sports, and his own website, bamsports.net. With over 30 years on Memphis radio, with handicapping and sports talk, here's Bruce Marshall with Bryant and Brett.
Bruce Marshall joins us from Vegas Insider and CBS Sports. Talk all things wagering, but we talk a ton of football with him. Bruce, thanks so much for joining us. A lot to get to, and before we get to any of these picks this afternoon, I want to get your thoughts on the quarterfinal action. Let's start with the first game, Miami and Ohio State. The U leans on their defense again, a 10-point victory for them. It was all Miami in the first half. Towards the end of the game, Ohio State able to tack on some points, and I think everyone started holding their breath of could we see an Ohio State comeback. But what did you make of Miami in that quarterfinal win?
Yeah, we'll see. And by the way, I'm glad. I hope you're indoors here because I'm watching the Liberty Bowl and it's pretty wet out there at the stadium today. But anyway, I was surprised Miami won. I thought they could stick within that spread, and I thought it would be lower scoring, and it did stay under. Just how how they were able to. I think it was that last drive of the game that really was the eye opener because they needed the momentum was sort of lost there as Ohio State was making that run, and they and it was mostly on the ground in that last drive there that sewed up the game. Very impressive there for Miami, and it just sometimes these teams like Ohio State. I mean, you lose a little momentum right at the end. They got punched in the face by Indiana in the Big Ten title game, and I have some questions about Julian Sayin too, and I thought it was just way too much overreaction putting him in the Heisman finalist category this year. He had every advantage for a quarterback this year. He's good, all right, but with a line like that and able to run and best receiver maybe in the country, I mean, it was all on a silver platter for him this year. But when things started to go sideways against Indiana, he didn't respond. He didn't respond really against Miami. He threw a bad pick six there. I think he's more of a product of the system there than being, a superstar quarterback. And I think in the end they needed a little bit more from him, and they didn't get it.
No, they didn't get it at all. I think you're absolutely right about that, and understandable to have those questions. So Miami advances to the semifinals. Then we had the triple header yesterday. Oregon all over Texas Tech after kind of all the season of talking about this Texas Tech team and how good they've looked offensively. For them to go out there and lay a goose egg against Oregon, really impressive from the Ducks, but really disappointing from the Red Raiders. What did you see in that matchup?
Yeah, I didn't expect that either, but I think, this was sort of a false alarm on Texas Tech, and didn't expect them to get manhandled like that up front. But this is the latest example of what can happen these days in college football when the schedule breaks so well for you. And this reminded a little bit of Florida State a couple of years ago, when just an incredible stretch of breaks in the schedule and subpar teams in the ACC being way down and got them to the point where they're 13-0 actually, but I know the quarterback was hurt at the end and they got exposed by Georgia. USC a little bit the year before with Caleb Williams in his first year there under Lincoln Riley. But you look at Texas Tech this year, nobody in non-conference play, and they missed several teams that could have maybe given them a fight, in conference play. Arizona was one, Iowa State another. They just matched up really well with BYU, but they didn't really beat that much this year. And I think this is the bigger picture here. It's something scheduling-wise, there's still some vestiges of old-time college football in this new era with the portal and with the playoff and all that, and there's still things like this old-time scheduling. There is no room for a power conference team to do what Texas Tech did with its schedule this year, to play Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Kent State, and Oregon State. I mean, that was embarrassing. Yeah. And they got what they deserved, I think. And Oregon, not so smooth offensively, but the defense sure picked it up. And this was a 38-point per game offense during the regular season, so I think they will. You'll see a little bit more of that against Indiana next week.
Yeah, it's a really good point about how the schedule broke for Texas Tech, because you're right. I mean, a lot of very winnable games on that schedule, and they did what you have to do against that schedule, and they won all of them. Alabama and Indiana all over Alabama. Landon and I were talking at the beginning of the show, not the fact that Indiana beat Alabama, but the way that it happened was shocking to me yesterday, because and obviously a new era for Alabama over these last 2 years, but it's still just taking a long time to kind of see these type of results, regular season or postseason play. What did you make of the way Indiana was able to beat Alabama yesterday?
Yeah, I didn't see that coming at all, and for Alabama, that was even a little worse than the Georgia game and the SEC title game, but there's some red flags up there now in Tuscaloosa. The standards are so high there, but they're not used to getting whipped like that in the SEC title game, then in the playoff. I mean, after about 10 minutes, maybe it's early in the second quarter, I realized this isn't going to work for Alabama because Indiana was controlling the action up front. First down, they're running 5-6 yards per carry. And Indiana, for all of the Mendoza talk, and he is really good, Heisman winner and all. And this is still mostly a run-first offense there, with Hemby in particular. And there were a few games this year where they struggled. The Iowa game is one, Penn State another one, even the first Oregon game, where they weren't running like that. And the point totals, I mean, and it wasn't easy for them. Yesterday they were running, it was easy. And Alabama, just lack of real game breakers offensively. I'm not that sold on Ty Simpson either, although I don't know what he could have done yesterday. Didn't have a lot of time to throw, didn't have a running game to lean on, didn't have receivers open. So in that scenario, there's nothing your quarterback can do. I think Kalen DeBoer's under some heat next year. This is the job he took there, and this is the expectation they have, and these efforts aren't going to cut it. And Indiana sure looks impressive to me. It's going to take something for Oregon or whoever else in the final to beat them. This team is for real.
Yeah, they are definitely looking the part. And then probably the best game we've seen so far in the playoffs, Ole Miss and Georgia, a game that was phenomenal in the regular season, even better in the quarterfinals. Ole Miss gets the win 39-34. A great game from both quarterbacks, both teams able to run the ball extremely well. Your takeaways from Ole Miss's win last night?
Yeah, this is starting to look a little Bill Frieder, Steve Fisher-ish from Michigan Hoops back in 1989 when they had that coaching change right at the start of the big dance that year. Whatever the Kiffin deal is, that now this team is playing on a level, and if most of Lane's staff is still there, I know, but they don't seem to miss him right now. And Trinidad Chambliss is stepping it up another notch. And what he was able to do last night, and his ability to improvise, and his ability to come with big plays, and just the ice water in his veins, that makes them a very, very scary team here. And right now, this is the ride right now, and they're on it. And I was a little surprised that Georgia's defense wasn't a little better able to cope, because Georgia had played really well defensively down the stretch and into the SEC title game. The November numbers were way, way better than the first half of the season. But they just didn't have enough answers for Chambliss last night. And, this is really something that's going on at Ole Miss. We'll see how long they can keep riding this magic carpet next week against Miami.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun story. You just mentioned it, the semifinals. Miami and Ole Miss in Arizona, and then Oregon, Indiana down in Atlanta. Have you started looking at any of these things? Anything that jumps out to you in either of these two matchups?
Well, I still haven't figured out what I'm going to do with Miami and Ole Miss, so I don't know that I want to buck Ole Miss right now, the way Chambliss is going. I think it's just something special. They're just doing playing on a different level with the way he's playing right now, so I'd be reluctant to look against Ole Miss. The other one I got to think about more. There is one other angle to note besides this playoff bye angle, which now doesn't apply after we just got done with the second round here. And Indiana was the only team with a bye to win. That's the last 2 years they're the only one. But in-season rematches, there has been an angle, and we saw it again yesterday in Ole Miss, Georgia. It's if the team lost the first meeting, go with them the second time. I mean, the reversal of the first scoreline and conference championship weekend and through bowls thus far in the playoffs, 6-2.
Oh, wow.
So that would sort of favor Oregon to me. I actually think they've got a better chance here because they are, like we mentioned a moment ago, Indiana run first. They didn't run that well against Oregon, and that set up the first time. And they need to do that to set everything up for Mendoza. I don't know that Indiana can play better than it did yesterday, but I think Alabama was they're just so outclassed in that game. Oregon's not going to be outclassed. I'm thinking Oregon might be worth a look. That was just as impressive what Oregon's defense did yesterday at Texas Tech as what Indiana did defensively to the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, it really was. You mentioned the buys, those team with the buys. Only one team now with Indiana's win yesterday has won after having the bye over the last 2 years of the expanded playoffs. What do you make of that, and kind of how do you go forward with the playoffs when you're saying, hey, these are the four best teams each year, and then after the bye, seemingly none of them are winning? What do you make of that?
Well, that is interesting, and last year we got to remember you had two teams got a bye in the first round who were double-digit underdogs in the second round. That was Boise and Arizona State, and in Arizona State's case, really played well against Texas. So last year a little bit understandable, but obviously there's something going on here, and you've heard coaches even comment about it. Even Signetti before the Indiana game against the Tide yesterday in the Rose Bowl during the week before, he was saying, look, our practices haven't been that great. I'm not thrilled with this 3.5-week break that we've had. So that will be one of the talking points when they expand this thing like they will. But if, they'd have to go to 16 for there not to be buys in the first round unless they go to 32 after that. And I don't think they're going that far. They've talked about 20, 24, 28. In that scenario, there'd be buys. But that's why I think it's going next is to 16. I'm not sure when it is, but it'll be soon enough, and then they'll, for temporarily at least, be rid of the buys. But it is a real factor, I think.
Yeah, no, I think it absolutely is. Looking at the bowl schedule, 2 more bowl games tonight. You mentioned we've got the AutoZone Liberty Bowl right now, Navy in Cincinnati right now. Navy up 7-0 at the end of the first quarter. But 2 games tonight, Arizona and SMU in the Trust and Will Holiday Bowl. This line's been moving. I think earlier today, Arizona was a favorite. Now SMU a 1.5-point favorite. The total 52.5. What do you like in this one?
I think this is going to be a very interesting one here tonight down in San Diego. Arizona played very well down the stretch, and also you've got two quarterbacks here who were sticking around, which is pretty interesting. So you got Fafita on the Arizona side, you got Jennings on the SMU side. So that's pretty interesting, and I kind of like that angle there. By the way, Cincinnati has just gone with the backup quarterback who's the runner in there now, so they have changed their look against Navy in the bowl game out at the Liberty Bowl, so for whatever that's worth. But anyway, back to the Arizona game. I like the way Arizona played down the stretch. They looked like they did 2 years ago when Jed Fish was still there. They went down to the Alamo Bowl and beat Oklahoma 2 years ago. They were very hot down the stretch. Fafita was a freshman that year. He put up some very big numbers. They really dropped off with Brent Brennan last year, but Brennan, in his second year this year, put it back together, changed some guys on his staff. This offense was dynamic. This was the second best team in the Big 12, I think, and I wish I could have seen them play Texas Tech. Fafita, 26 TDs, just 5 picks. I think Arizona's the side to look at here. I wonder about SMU and their mindset after blowing a chance to get back to the ACC title game in that regular season finale against Cal. I'm taking Arizona in this one. I think they win this thing outright tonight.
I like it. In the last bowl game tonight, Wake Forest and Mississippi State in the Dukes Mayo Bowl. Right now, Mississippi State, a team that finished 5-7 on the season, they're 2.5-point favorite tonight against Wake. The total 53.5. What do you like here?
Yeah, I like Wake a little bit, though. This is a little tricky. I mean, maybe Mississippi State, which has done well non-conference, but not well in conference the last 2 years. Blake Shapen didn't play in the Egg Bowl. He's not going to play tonight. He's away from the team now, so it's the freshman going to be in there. Camario will be in there for Jeff Levy, and he didn't do that badly against Ole Miss in the Egg Bowl, but still, I mean, he's only making his second career start. Wake Forest was the consummate punching above its weight team this year, and give Jake Dickert a lot of credit for getting this team to 8 wins. They covered 7 of their last 9. Had a journeyman quarterback, Robbie Ashford, had been all around the map. Purdy had come from Charlotte, transfer in, so he had 2 quarterbacks he used that were both pretty effective this year. This team just really overachieved, and they're playing in their backyard in Charlotte. A little bit to Wake Forest tonight. I like Arizona a lot more of these 2 tonight, but I'll lean a little bit to the Deeks in this one.
I like that. Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insider and CBS Sports. He joins us every Friday to talk wagering. Over in the NFL, a very weird Week 18. A lot of the playoffs already set. You're seeing a lot of reports of different guys. Will they play? Will they not play? But there are a couple of games that are very important, that matter a lot. One of them tomorrow afternoon, Panthers and Buccaneers. Right now, Tampa Bay a 3-point favorite. The total 43.5. What do you like in this game?
I like the Panthers in this one. I think the Bucs are a very hard sell now. What have they lost? 5-6 in a row. They're 1-7 their last 8. There's reasons for that, and most of those losses have been close. They haven't been hammered except that one game against the Rams, but they're just not getting over the line. The offensive line has taken some injuries this year. They are not running very consistently, not like they were a year ago down the stretch, and certainly that has not helped Baker Mayfield that much. He's throwing too many picks in this slump, and they just seem to be finding ways to lose. At least, Carolina's been going back and forth, but at least that means they're winning some games here. And we've seen enough good efforts from Bryce Young to think they can go out on the road, which they have done. They went into Green Bay when the Packers were playing very well, beat them last month. And I think Carolina just looks better to me. They beat the Bucs a couple weeks ago, and I just can't see Tampa Bay turning it around right now. So I'm going to give Carolina a shot. That'll sew up the South, and then even if the Bucs win, they aren't in there yet. They need the Saints to knock off the Falcons on Sunday. But I think Carolina takes care of business tomorrow.
I think I'm with you there. The other big game in Week 18, Ravens and Steelers, Sunday Night Football. Right now, Baltimore on the road. It's actually moving. Earlier when we were discussing it, it was Baltimore as a 3.5-point favorite. Now I'm seeing Baltimore as a 4.5-point favorite on the road in Pittsburgh. The total 40.5. What do you like here?
I don't like this move from the Baltimore perspective because it's mostly related to Lamar Jackson now. It looks like he's going to play. I don't know if that's a great idea, though. He hasn't been the same since early in the season when he hurt his hamstring the first time, and he missed over a month and he came back. He was not the same. He's had a couple of injuries since then, but he is not, this year at least, physically, he is not the same quarterback. He's not making those electric bolts and runs out of the pocket that really were his trademark. Without that, he's just another quarterback, and his numbers and everything, reflects that. And I think they might have been better off with Tyler Huntley in this game. I don't know that this is a great idea for Jackson to play. Having said that, though, the Metcalf absence for Pittsburgh is a real negative. Home field doesn't seem to matter too much in this series. It's been a close series throughout the years. Now Pittsburgh's a home dog. They just haven't looked that good. Without Metcalf, I think they're going to have more trouble scoring. I'd actually like Baltimore more if Huntley was in there. That was a great effort at Green Bay last week with him, and he has played in some big games before. I will still take Baltimore, a lower scoring game. Let's say 20-13 Ravens. I think they do win it Sunday night.
Anything you like anywhere else in the NFL?
Yeah, there's one in particular, well, two. I do like San Francisco tomorrow night. And by the way, just a reminder to everybody, Week 1 matters in the NFL. And if you go back to September, that week you saw San Francisco win at Seattle, a last-minute win up there, 17-13. Didn't seem that remarkable at the time, but that win has allowed San Francisco now to have a chance to beat Seattle in a tiebreaker in the West. So keep that in mind. And also one other thing about Week 1 in the AFC, if you look back to Week 1, the Raiders actually won a game at New England, if you can believe that. That result is the difference in the tiebreaker with Denver and New England right now. Wow. Because you get down to common opponents and you get Jets, Bengals, and you get to the Raiders. That's the difference. So believe it or not, the Raiders have impacted the AFC playoff queue there because of that Week 1 win. Anyway, for this San Francisco game, I like Brock Purdy now. I think he's hot. What he's done since he's playing at an MVP level the last month. And this is right where Sam Darnold, it went off the rails for him last year with the Vikings, that game at Detroit. Last regular season game, he was bad. He was even worse in the wild card game. He's thrown too many picks for my liking this year. I know Seattle's good. I just think San Francisco wins it. And one on Sunday. Now, this is one we got to be careful because a lot of quarterbacks, like you said, either won't play. Some first stringers might start, play for a series or two, and then they go to the bench. Buffalo's probably like that with Josh Allen. He'll play on Sunday, and it's going to be a lot of Mitch Trubisky probably after that. Nonetheless, I love the Bills here. First of all, they're going to wear throwback uniforms, their old red helmets back to the 90s when they're going to the Super Bowl and the Marv Levy teams. Second, it is the last game at their stadium, Highmark Stadium. The new one is going to be ready right next door next season. Very emotional game for them at their longtime stadium since '73. One other note, the Jets come in. I can't believe this number is so light. The Jets just completed the worst December in NFL history. No team had a point differential as bad in December ever. as the Jets minus 107 in 4 games, and they didn't come closer than 23. Aaron Glenn might as well give Joe Namath a call because he doesn't have a quarterback now. Brady Cook, the Missouri rookie, is all he's got left, and he's been awful. I mean, the Jets have been just miserable. And even with Trubisky in the backups, they'll be very motivated to play, and they will beat the Jets by more than 7.
Wow. Quickly, Bruce, before we let you go, anything you like tonight in the NBA or college basketball?
Yeah, I might give the Knicks a shot tonight. It's funny. I mean, they had, since they won the NBA Cup, they went 7 games in a row where they didn't cover a spread. They won most of those games. One of them was against Atlanta last week where they had an 18-point lead in the second half, and it got chopped down to 3 at the end. But, and they covered a game 2 nights ago against San Antonio that they lost. So, go figure. But I do think, even if a Cat might not play tonight, Mitchell Robinson might not play, but nonetheless, Atlanta comes in, Trae Young is out. I can't see the Knicks having trouble with Atlanta twice within a week, so I'll lay the 6.5 there. College, Cal Bears against Notre Dame tonight. Look at that Notre Dame, the box score of the Stanford game 2 nights ago. Looks like from the Peach Basket era. I mean, neither team could shoot or score. Stanford was 23% from the field. Cal's a lot better than that. Cal got off to a very bad start against Louisville the other night, but this is actually a pretty good Cal team, and Notre Dame is still without Marcus Burton, their high-scoring guard. So I'll give Cal a shot late tonight in Berkeley.
What do you make of Michigan being a 22.5-point favorite against another ranked team?
Yeah, I know USC's not that bad. I am just not going against Michigan right now. I mean, I have seen, when I watched that Gonzaga game and what they did to them and some of these other games, they are playing at such a high level. And the transfer from UAB, Landenborg, has just fit in so well there. Mara, the big 7'2" from UCLA, I mean, they just need him to block shots. I mean, they got other guys handling the rough stuff down low. The backcourt is great. I'm not going to look against Michigan. This is a lot of points, but I'm not picking against the Wolverines.
I mean, it's just hard to even imagine 2 ranked teams playing and one team being more than a 20-point favorite. It's just kind of blows you away seeing that. But, Bruce, before we let you go, where can we find more of you?
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Check me out online at the old standbys, VegasInsider.com. Also at CBS Sportsline, Sportsline.com. And picks with a different twist at winnersandwhiners.com and picksandparlays.com.
Bruce, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you again next Friday.
Okay, thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Bruce. Bruce Marshall joining us every single week to talk all things wagering. I mean, we got a little bit of everything. College football, NFL, NBA, college basketball. We talk it all with Bruce Marshall. But we need to get to another break. When we return, Brett Norsworthy going to be back with us, and we've got a lot to talk about with all these college football playoff games, including the one he was at last night in New Orleans with Ole Miss getting the big win over Georgia. We're talking the college football playoff games next on Sports Time.
You have opinions?
I think it's over.
Of course you do.
I don't think it's that simple.
Everyone does.
I got all the answers.
Hit us up on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line at 360-8255.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova.
Want to make 2026 your year of adventure? Book that trip and learn a new language with Babbel. Go ahead, make a resolution you can stick to. Now is the time. Babbel's New Year sale is here. Unlock all of the languages on Babbel with a lifetime subscription for 65% off. Turn your daydream into a destination this year with Babbel. Get Babbel's lifetime access for less at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders Roofing and Restoration. Let me ask you something. Are you seeing unsightly water spots on your ceiling? in your home, your office, or even worse, mold? Have you noticed shingles missing, pieces in your yard, or signs your roof just doesn't look right anymore? Here's the facts. What you see inside usually means there's already a bigger problem above you. At Metro Builders, we don't just guess, we inspect. Our team performs a full roof inspection right on site. We take detailed photos, document everything, and show you exactly what's happening with your roof. Whether it's a simple repair or a full replacement, don't let anyone tell you it needs to be replaced when all it needs is a repair. We offer free inspections, on-the-spot estimates, clear explanations, and yes, financing is available. Before a small issue turns into major damage, make the phone call that protects your home. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. Metro Builders, Roofing and Restoration. We don't just build, we build world class.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. I wanted to take a minute and discuss advertising with you. There are so many websites that list the best service provider in your area. Even the BBB has an accredited list. You know the one thing they all have in common? A company like mine has to pay to get on that list. So that begs the question, can those lists be trusted? You know what can be trusted? History. We've been around for almost 30 years providing customers with the best service and the best products that we possibly can. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call. We'll come talk to you and let you decide for yourself whether or not we know what we're talking about. Fiveash Roof Services. Best products, best warranties, and in many cases, the best price. We're fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
When you hear the sound coming, hear the drums drumming, I want you to join together.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as Brett's back with us for the rest of the show. A long day for him, a long night last night, a fun night, I'm sure. Brett, how's it going?
I'm doing well, Brian. I knew I was in trouble when we got back to the hotel, and it was so crowded you could not get to the elevators to go to your specific floor. So we said, okay, heck with it. Let's enjoy the revelry and the fun, and let's order some food. And at the hotel in the lobby, they said, now all we're serving is pizza, and it will be 2 hours. Well,
oh my gosh!
Heck, I could drive to Hammond and get something to eat in that time, and pizza and me at 1:45, 2 o'clock. I thought that won't work well, so instead, go out on Bourbon Street and get a Bourbon Street chili dog at 2:30 in the morning.
Heck yeah! I mean,
and it settled fine. It was everything was good.
Wow, that's great. Wow. Yeah, I mean, if you had told me this, a couple months, hey, Bryant, I'm gonna be in New Orleans on New Year's Day. Or I guess the second day of the new year at 2:30 in the morning eating chili dogs, I would have gone, no, you're not. That's not you, Brett. I don't know who that is, but it's not Brett Norsworthy.
So the night before made it to midnight in the middle of Bourbon Street for the third time in my life, but I was back at my room about 12:30. Right. So the last two nights, 12:30 for me, and last night ended up being 3:30.
Wow.
And up early, but it was so much fun, and for so many of the Ole Miss persuasion, we're talking about, the game of our lives. I mean, just so many of us, just instant classic, and thank goodness it didn't go to overtime. I don't think I could have taken it. I really don't. and I'll get to it maybe a little bit later in Mo's crunch time. But it was heart rate at David Freese Game 6 level World Series 2011, and it was the same thing last night. But also for the BCS college football playoff in its run, I don't know that much would ever top the Vince Young Texas win over what was the dynasty at that time with Pete Carroll's USC teams in that Rose Bowl. That one stands out. The Tua to Devontae walk-off in overtime for Alabama after the big sack that looked like they were doomed. And then I think I was at one at the Rose Bowl, the overtime Rose Bowl that Georgia topped Oklahoma and Baker Mayfield in his Heisman Trophy winning season. So I think of the 4 BCS playoff type classics, Brett stumbled around and it ended up being at 2. And I think it needed it. The ratings are great. You're seeing releases all day today from independent people, not just ESPN PR, that all the ratings prior to the CFP are all up. We all collectively kind of trash these games, but people watch.
That's right.
And people enjoy it. So it's not going away. And you see just the gold standard of advertising out there wanting to be a part of this, and that's what's going to keep college football, for as messy and unseemly as it can get, and we're getting ready to have the most controversial offseason we've ever had. Everybody's talking about all the people in the portal today. But when you see this lineup of advertisers that's a part of the college football playoff and of the bowl season, right there tells you just business and economics. Somehow, some way, they're going to come to some resolution, and we're going to keep something called college football.
Yeah.
It's going to be very different. Like college basketball is going to be very different. Now, I would, to everybody that's seeing today, 1,100 players in the portal. Well, just do quick division. That's about 136 in FBS. Help me with my quick division. I think that's about 9 a team.
Sure,
isn't it?
yeah. I mean, I math was never my best subject, but we'll agree on that.
And I don't think it's good for the body politic of college football and college sports to have this much state of flux around the sport. I don't. I wish we could tap our heels together and we return to normalcy, but we're never returning to those players just get 3 squares, tuition, and something to eat. And if they break their leg, they get a cast. We're never going back to that. But I don't think 9 or 10 players per team is that scandalous. I just don't.
No, it's not. And I mean, obviously, like you said, when we have, and I think the crazy thing, I forgot who it was. It was one of the guys that college football reporters, but really dives into the transfer portal and stuff like that. And they tweeted out last night and was like, 5,000 players just entered the transfer portal. I was like, no, they
Pete
didn't.
Dacos.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
I was like,
he's Portal Pete.
Yeah, it's like the portal they just officially went in. That I know what you're doing. You're trying to be funny, but for a lot of people, when they read that, they're not realizing what you're actually saying, and they're going, oh my gosh, this many people just entered the transfer portal. They just opened. All those guys we've already known they were entering the transfer portal. It's just now official. So you're right. It's not as bad. Obviously, you have teams out there.
It's not great.
No, it's not great, but it's not end of the world terrible.
It is, but it's not end of times.
No,
it is not.
No. But obviously, you've got teams like we're going to see here with Memphis that have a ton of guys in the transfer portal and are going to bring in a ton of new guys. But also, there's a lot of teams out there that it's just, a handful of guys in there and not kind of the complete overhaul like you're going to see at a couple places.
All right, so when are we going to fully dive into the deepest part of the Pacific Ocean, near the Marianas Islands? When are we going to dive in and say it and believe it, and there's no but, and there's no asterisk, there's nothing in parentheses, there's no shrug the shoulders afterwards? Indiana's for real.
Whew, I'm ready. I'm ready to do it. What they did to Alabama, we were talking about it earlier. Not just the fact that they beat Alabama, the way that they beat Alabama was shocking to me.
They made Alabama look small.
I mean, just in every single aspect of the game. We were talking all week last week about, if they can't run the ball, they're in trouble, but I don't think anybody imagined that it would play out the way it played out. Ty Simpson couldn't do anything. The run game couldn't do anything. And on the other side, Indiana just did whatever they wanted. Mendoza was terrific. I mean, it was a masterclass by Indiana against the team that nobody has masterclasses against.
And at the time when he was pulled, we didn't know about the Ty Simpson injury, and I don't think there was any fudging going on. I think he was injured, and he probably had to come out. We just thought he was being pulled, and I said it was the equivalent of a ace in the postseason, being Clayton Kershaw being yanked after 3 2/3.
Yeah,
but it was injury.
Sure, and I mean, I think it was probably, mostly injury, but I think a little bit of it was
feelings hurt too.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, I definitely feelings hurt out there. But I mean, I think they saw it and said, "Hey, he's banged up. If this was a tied game, was he still coming out? Maybe,
Great
maybe
question.
not.
Great
But
question.
because of the deficit, because of what he had shown, hey, let's throw Mac out there and just let him get some run. It was shocking when they pulled him to see just that happen. I know it's a new era. I know we're talking about this Alabama team completely differently, but it's still Alabama at the end of the day, and for them to get embarrassed like they did yesterday, I did not see that coming at all.
Ding dong, the dominance is over in the SEC. It is. All of us have commented about it, feared it, thought it could be happening 2 years in a row now for the Big Ten, and now they have 2 cracks at it being 3 years in a row. Now they will eliminate one of those teams. We know there's going to be a Big Ten team in the finals. I'm 2 out of 4 in my Final Four. What are you?
I think I'm 1, maybe 2 out of 4. I don't have my actual one with me. I tried to look at it earlier. It's at my house, so I don't have it in front of me. But I don't remember if I had Indiana in the semifinals. You're not
keeping it at your ready like you do your bracket, basketball bracket?
Well, Brett, I'll be completely honest with you. I broke my backpack towards the end of December, and so I got a new backpack for Christmas. And so I think when I was making my way over, some of the stuff got left on my desk.
You get transferred.
And some of the stuff
just
got
like
in
a new
my backpack.
phone.
That's right. So I'm still trying to figure everything out. But it is. I have it in a handy place. I just do not have it right now.
No, I kid about the basketball. Nobody's wagging around their football bracket like we do our basketball bracket. We have a picture of our basketball bracket on our phone to immediately be able to brag or run from the picks. Nobody's doing this. Maybe when it goes to 16, when it does, and the clock is really ticking on that. College SEC administrators and college football playoff poobahs told me that a lot really has to go right between now and when they get to Miami for the finals. They want to unveil what we're going to do next year at that, and it's really looking like it's going to stay at 12 and not go to 16. But when it goes to 16, it might have some bracket mania, but it's never going to be like the basketball tournament, and that's okay. That is okay. It is quite distinctly 2 different sports.
No, it is, but I'll say this, Brett. I have noticed since the playoffs have started, it's starting to kind of grow. I'm hearing people talking about, well, my bracket, this is the team I have winning in my bracket. So I think because of how popular football is, as we continue to grow in the expanded playoffs, I think it's going to get much more popular, and you're going to see a lot of people talking about those brackets and doing brackets for the playoffs.
All right, ding dong, the dominance is over in the SEC. It has been, but it's official. And Indiana really needed that game against Alabama. That gives you more gravitas. That gives you more oomph, whether it's vintage Alabama or not. And it wasn't, but the brand is. It's a little bit like what the late, great Gene Bartow inherited succeeding John Wooden. He told me, he said, Brett, man, everybody we played was playing us like it was John Wooden in an 88-game winning streak. We got the best shot. So that's life for Bama. That's a good problem. The Ohio State, they didn't have a dynasty, did they?
No. But,
in a good run, but we're still at 1 for Ryan Day. I'm bold prediction. I think Ryan Day takes one of these open NFL jobs because the Ohio State appetite is just too heavy for him. If he lost next year to Michigan and early exit, they're after him like he's a 4-8 coach, and I'm guessing I had enough of that.
Well, Brett, I'm laughing because I know a guy that is a big Ohio State fan, and after the loss, he was begging. He was begging for Coach Day to take one of these NFL jobs. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
I think he gets his wish. Texas Tech, what did it say about them in their year? How they exited?
I mean, I think I heard, I don't remember who I heard say this, but, kind of questioning, how real were they? How real was this Big 12 conference this year? Because it was very surprising to see them.
I think Texas Tech and BYU were real.
I think so, but I mean, we were just talking to Bruce Marshall, and I thought he brought up a good point of kind of the way their schedule broke and some of the games that they had. I think they were for real, but man, to go out there against a really good Oregon team and just lay a goose egg, I was shocked.
But in anything that's resembling a magical year, and Texas Tech, they were either at or near one. And Ole Miss is now certainly at one. You've got to have a lot of those things break your way.
Yep.
Brian, if you'll remember, I did not come home from Lexington poo-pooing that win. I didn't make it the end of time great win. I didn't make it sound like we were beating Kentucky in basketball. I think I merely said it beats the heck out of last year's result.
Yeah.
And it kept Ole Miss alive. Making that play late in the game against which ended up being, utterly horrible Arkansas team.
Yeah.
Either one of those weeks go from a win to a loss. Where's Ole Miss?
Yeah, and we talk about that all the time. Of you see those big years, you got to have breaks like that happen, and then you got to keep capitalizing on that, and that's exactly what Ole Miss is doing with these two first wins.
And now it feels like a really a chance for a magic carpet ride. But I think Coach Pete Golding, through these now almost 4 weeks, today is Friday, right? 4 weeks ago today was the Egg Bowl. Everything broke that Saturday. He was permanently hired on Sunday, not just as interim, but permanent head coach for the Bowls and going forward. His toughest task with all these curveballs, all these curveballs. He's had fastballs thrown right at his dome.
Yeah.
All these high hard ones that he's gotten. His toughest assignment starts tomorrow. Getting them back and go, we got more to do. Because if he's like the radio announcers and a lot of fans, a whole lot got left in New Orleans.
Well, and Brett, I think that was the biggest thing I noticed last night watching that game is once we finally had the game completely over and we knew it was completely over. I mean, good Lord, that was insane. But they, he gets the Gatorade bath and everything. He's walking out to midfield. Whole time, straight face. I mean, nothing. It reminded me of the Kobe Bryant press conference where he goes, job not finished, job finished, job not finished type deal. Because, I mean, want a smile, want anything. I'm sure it probably turned into a smile afterwards, but kind of that laser focus throughout. I mean, you got to have that. And for him to kind of be in this position where he's taking over all the noise around this program with Lane Kiffin leaving, really, really impressed with his demeanor on the sideline last night.
Now, it never got close to happening, but I thought for a second, and I'm glad it didn't because I don't think it would be a good look, and I would imagine you could get in real trouble for it, a big fine.
Yeah.
There was some of me down there after the Canaro field goal went through. Ole Miss fans are going to rush the field and tear the goalpost down.
Brett, I was watching, and right when I knew the game was over, I got up to do something, and I came back. And I saw some people on the field that were very clearly not players, but obviously were people with field passes. But for a second there, I go, oh, my gosh, the fans are going onto the field.
Yeah.
I was right there with you.
I thought it could happen, but very different than if you do it at home. I know there probably are legal ramifications if you do it in any home stadium, but how big are those going to stick unless you do something dumb like hit one of the opposing players?
Right.
But you do it like that last night, you could be sitting in the jug in New Orleans still right now over it.
Very different.
Which is probably a good reason why they didn't do it.
Yes, very different when you are when you're in the Sugar Bowl. But a great win for Ole Miss, and now sets up a really interesting semifinals on both sides. Miami, Ole Miss. That will be Thursday, January 8th at 6:30, and then Friday, Oregon and Indiana, also 6:30. On ESPN. But we need to get to another break, and when we return, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Chris lowest price here with Metro Builders Roofing and Restoration. Let me ask you something. Are you seeing unsightly water spots on your ceiling, in your home, your office, or even worse, mold? Have you noticed shingles missing, pieces in your yard, or signs your roof just doesn't look right anymore? Here's the facts. What you see inside usually means there's already a bigger problem above you. At Metro Builders, we don't just guess, we inspect. Our team performs a full roof inspection right on site. We take detailed photos, document everything, and show you exactly what's happening with your roof. Whether it's a simple repair or a full replacement, don't let anyone tell you it needs to be replaced when all it needs is a repair. We offer free inspections, on-the-spot estimates, clear explanations, and yes, financing is available. Before a small issue turns into major damage, make the phone call that protects your home. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. Or check us out online at metrobuildersmemphis.com. Metro Builders Roofing and Restoration. We don't just build, we build world class.
I say this all the time. Insurance companies aren't in the business of protecting you. They're in the business of protecting their profits. Their number one goal, avoid paying any claim they can get out of. These policies, home, life, and auto, are written in legal jargon on purpose, not for clarity, for confusion. Buried in that fine print are exclusions, loopholes, and coverage gaps you'll never catch on your own. You might think you're covered, but you don't actually know. Most people only find out when something goes wrong, and by then it's too late. That's why you should look at My Policy Advocate. Upload your policy. Break it down. It does so in plain English, telling you where you're covered and exposed and where your insurance company can deny you. Right now, through the end of the year, it's just $79 for an entire year, practically nothing. And it could save you tens of thousands of dollars when life happens. Don't leave it to chance. Go to mypolicyadvocate.com. Take 5 minutes. Make sure you're actually protected.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With over 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every dollar you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
So you need to sell your house? I have the solution. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Any house, any area, as is. It's literally as simple as that. Just pick up your phone. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your house fast, call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses.
Getting engaged is one of life's most spectacular occasions. And when you find your ring at Sissy's Log Cabin, the promise of a lifetime begins with our promise to always provide unmatched quality, superior service, and brilliant natural diamonds. Find your dream engagement ring, wedding bands, and more when you shop Sissy'sLogCabin.com or stop by any of our 7 locations. Begin the rest of your lives brilliantly, only at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brown. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
All right, Brett, my big number today is a college football big number, and it comes from the college football playoffs. Big number is 1996. That is the year 1996, and that's my big number because if Indiana or Oregon wins the national championship, which one of them will be eliminated in the semifinals because they will meet in Atlanta in a week, but if one of Indiana or Oregon wins the national championship, it would be the FBS's first new national champion since Florida in 1996.
Yeah, and Miami, the last time they won it, 2001, I think the best college football team I've ever seen. Either they or 2020 Bama, COVID Bama, or 2019 LSU. But I think it's the U. I joked back then Jeremy Shockey turned pro to get more playing time because he wasn't getting enough because they were too loaded at Miami. And Ole Miss, 1962, recognized as national champion.
Yep.
So Oregon, with all that money Phil Knight has spent, they're very close.
Very
and
close.
Indiana, they've capitalized on this modern football as Ole Miss as well. But it's going to be a fun final. However, the semi shakeout. My big number is 189. Ole Miss and Georgia have had 3 pretty classic games the last 3 times they met. Last night, 39-34. Back in October, 43-35 Dogs. And last year in Oxford, 28-10 Ole Miss. In those games, that's 189 points scored. 102 for Ole Miss, 87 for Georgia.
Wow.
Ole Miss 2-1 in those games.
How about that? Well, yeah, that makes sense. They played extremely well. Like you said, all 3 of those games have been awesome. And last night,
and that was Carson Beck. We'll get to see him next Thursday night in Tempe or in Glendale.
Yes, you will get to see some Carson Beck, who is good, and I think that's all Miami really needs out of him.
He took care of the ball.
He did, and that's it. That's what it feels like every week. We talk about Carson Beck taking care of the ball. As long as he does that, feels like Miami's in a pretty good spot. So we'll see what it looks like next week.
Always best when you don't throw it to the other team.
No kidding. And you look at some of those losses, and they were filled with interceptions from those.
6 interceptions in the 2 losses for Miami.
That's insane. That's insane. But that's what you got to do, and it's that defense that Miami's been leaning
that
on.
Front and off the edge.
Ooh, man.
That's the U.
Mm-hmm.
That is back being the U.
Brett, I'm starting to hear it. The U's back.
Well, the U will be back when they're holding the championship trophy.
That's right. Yeah, that's what they got to do.
I mean, they're not Indiana and Ole Miss, and for that matter, Oregon.
No. The U, they expect championships.
All right, hard one.
Okay.
Miami, a blue blood.
I would say so.
Yeah,
I would absolutely say so. Yeah, they're in there.
Now, here's what I love about them: they don't want to be in your stinking club.
No, they don't. You're exactly right. They don't.
I like that.
Yeah, they want to be on their own. They're the U, and they want to be alone in that.
And they kicked the door in. They don't have as long a history as USC and Notre Dame and Alabama and some of the other club members of the Blue Blood Club. But they just kicked it in and said, we're here and we really don't like what we found when we kicked the door down.
No, and so we're gonna do our thing. So the 2 I think gonna be really, really fun semifinal games. But we need to get to a break here in just a second. But before we do that, let me remind you it's perfect time maybe this weekend to go out and get some barbecue. And when you're in Memphis, you can get that world famous Memphis style barbecue any night at the Commissary. Awarded the best barbecue in the city in the Commercial Appeals Best Barbecue in Memphis 2025 Bracket Showdown. Visit either location in Germantown and Collierville. Stop in for lunch or dinner. Stop in at the Collierville location and try the all-you-can-eat buffet. Available Monday through Friday. Pick and choose between 3 proteins, 5 sides, a salad, and a drink, all for just $15.95. For more than 40 years, the Commissary has been a staple in this area, and a huge reason is because of the quality of food they serve. My go-to, it's got to be the ribs, but it's hard to resist that barbecue shoulder. Get it chopped or pulled, and get it by the plate or by the pound. Comes in handy with the sandwich packs. Feed the whole group with a 6-pack, 8-pack, even a 12-pack, and don't forget about the dessert, like the delicious banana pudding, brownie, or the lemon icebox pie. Check out the entire menu and catering options at commissarybbq.com. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of watch parties over the next week for these playoff games. Let the Commissary cater those events. You can also check out their private party room, perfect for any occasion. But today, stop in at either location in Germantown, open daily until 8 p.m., and in Collierville, open until 9 p.m. for that world-famous Memphis-style barbecue at the Commissary. Well, we need to wrap up this second hour, get to another break, and when we return, we're talking Tiger basketball. Jason Munns from the Commercial Appeal. He joins us next.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgos. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar-based. It's now available in a 32-ounce jar. It's so good to baste or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or at our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef, and she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from a Mediterranean diet or a steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meats. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper was more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with a perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at the Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it.
A beloved family affair and still going strong since 1948, the Rendezvous.
Ken Garland, you are in your 72nd year of business. Your son William is now joining you. What do you think is the key to your longevity in the building business?
My dad started the business in 1965, and I think being on the job sites daily and being accessible to homeowners has been a key to our success.
You guys have a work ethic, as you like to say. You're not hiring people to be on the site. You guys are there every day.
We interact with the subcontractors multiple times a day on each job site. I think that has been a key, as well as using the same subcontractors 20 plus years in most cases.
When you talk about materials, what is the first thing you're thinking about when somebody comes to you to build a home?
We're just trying to meet the expectations of the client and the homeowner and the architect and give them what their dream is.
When you get a Ken Garland home, what do you guarantee?
We'll be there after the job is finished. We're still accessible to all our clients.
Now I need to know, how do I get a hold of Ken Garland?
You can reach us at kengarland.com.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know: Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood, across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswingerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
Air. We breathe it naturally. Simple, right? Not so fast. The air you breathe could be hazardous to your health. Don't guess. Be sure with a phone call to the Memphis Mold Inspector, the only licensed mold assessor in the Mid-South. Call the Memphis Mold Inspector to check the air quality inside your home and office. Protect babies, pets, new homes, old homes, employees, friends, loved ones, and you. Just call 901-292-7788 for clean air and peace of mind. 901-292-7788 for the Memphis Mold Inspector.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Memphis's original sports station. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we start our third and final hour on this Friday afternoon. We got to talk some Tiger basketball, and joining us like he does every Friday afternoon during the basketball season, Jason Munz from the Commercial Appeal. He joins us now. Jason's brought to you every single week by Jim's Place Grill in Collierville. Jason, thanks so much for joining us. A lot to get into, but the Tigers made it 1-0 in conference play Wednesday afternoon with a win over North Texas. A sloppy game on both sides, 20 turnovers for the Tigers. They play nice defense. They hold North Texas under 50 points. What did you make of what Memphis showed in their first conference game of the season?
They did what they had to do, I guess. I mean, that feels like the best thing we can say about that game. It was super ugly. I think North Texas finished also with 20 turnovers, 18 turnovers. It was well above their season average. So all things considered, Memphis has a really good defense. Memphis really has played very well defensively this season. They're ranked, last I looked, like 23rd in the country in adjusted defensive efficiency, and games like that only help that. It's the first time in 3 years that Memphis has held an opponent under 50 points. And the last time they did it, they actually did it twice within like an 8-day span. And it was the Kendrick Davis, DeAndre Williams year, which, turned out to be a pretty good year, 26-9. Obviously, it didn't work out for them in the NCAA tournament on the with FAU in front of them in Columbus, but still, all in all, a pretty good year. And I mean, that's the sort of thing. Penny has said this time and time again, that defense is what can, defense works wonders. That's the foundation of his entire program is defense. And so, but that said, you still got to score points, and Memphis only scored 57. And it was the worst free throw shooting percentage in a game in 5 years. Yeah. They were 4 of 15, which is like 26 point something %. And the last time they shot worse than that percentage wise was against SMU in 2020, when they only attempted 5 free throws and made one. So
that's stunning.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I thought they were going to get the level out and make sure the goals weren't whop-sided.
It was weird, man. I stopped going back through the stat book
because of the pain.
Well, just because I would like to see when the last time they shot so poorly when they had at least 15 attempts. But I had already gone back 5 years worth, and I was tired. So I stopped. I found what I was looking for the last time they had under, the last time it was worse than that, and I found it, so I was good with that. But maybe as I'm on the plane tomorrow, headed for Houston, I'll keep going. But they got to get some of that stuff figured out. It looked like they were kind of headed in a better direction with the 3-point shooting, and then against North Texas, it didn't look so hot again. And I don't, it's so they really got to get that figured out. The turnovers, the 3-point shooting.
Now the fouling was less against North Texas.
It was the least number of fouls they have committed in a game all season.
8, is that right? I don't have the box in front of me.
I think they actually committed 14 fouls, but North Texas only attempted 8 free throws.
Okay.
So it was. I mean, that's a season low as well. And that is a positive, because
absolutely, you got to play defense without fouling. They call them free throws for a reason. They're free.
Yeah, I mean, and that was out of control. That was like you were talking about before that game. They had committed at least 16 fouls in every game this season.
Would get a couple on a possession on when it would go to the offensive end of the court for opposing teams. The Tigers would foul a couple of times in that possession.
Yes, and just too many fouls, 85 feet, 90 feet away from the basket. And they had one of those against North Texas. They did that against North Texas. Had another one of those in that game. But again, when you look at things as a whole, they did better there. But we'll see. We'll see if this is truly a step in the right direction in some areas, and whether it was just a one-off in those other areas or not. They're going to a place tomorrow that should be another opportunity to work on some things and build some confidence. But
you got to pack your own enthusiasm, though.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be bad. They just lost by 49, I think, at Tulsa. Rice did. So, I mean, yeah, it's going to be tough tomorrow there.
Jason, I have not asked you this all year, and I like to ask it 1 or 2 times a year. And after November and December, now into conference play, I feel it's now appropriate. And it's contrary to a really over-the-top quote that Coach Hardaway had in the preseason about this roster. But my question is this, and it probably depends on some supposition by you, unless you know empirically for a fact. Please tell us. Do you think Coach Hardaway likes this team?
I do love this question. I really, really do, because it's a fun exercise to try and get in the, just try and peel back the layers of what he said and like things that we've seen, throughout the course of the season. I think he feels about this team the way he felt about the team he had 2 seasons ago when it all started falling apart. I don't
the JQ team.
Yes, I don't think he is particularly having much fun this season. And listen, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize this. All it takes is just sort of observing him for more than a few seconds at a time. Like, if you really sort of just like watch him during these games, he looks miserable. He looks absolutely miserable at times. Against Alabama State, he was fine. Like, they were well in control of that game. They won by 21. Okay, fine. But like in some of these other games, like, I don't know, like obviously Louisville, nobody likes getting their brains beat in the way that happened. But and a lot of things that he has said about how he's never had a team where it has taken this long to get it all like pulled together, and it's still not pulled together. It is now January 2nd, and it still isn't pulled together. He has started 10 different, or are we up to 11? I forget. It's either 10 or 11 different starting lineups.
We're double digits.
Yeah, there's only 7 teams in the country who have started more different 5-man combinations than Memphis. And the next one the next time he starts another different starting lineup, it will be more than the previous 2 seasons combined. 2 seasons combined, he had 11 different starting lineups. The next one he starts this year, and we're not even midway through the year, will be more than those previous 2 seasons combined. So I say all that to say, like, yeah, like I don't think he is particularly fond of what's going on right now with this team. He's having to find guys. He's having to bench guys.
He's using every motivational tactic you can play.
Yeah, and I mean, the term "fine" I think is getting a little bit misused. He hasn't like come out and said, it's not a fine. I think he's just docking. I think he's just withholding revenue sharing funds.
I bet if whatever player it is, Bradshaw gets all the heat about this. But let's say whatever player it is, if you then make a change for the better and you start doing more team things, I bet you get your cash at some point.
Yeah, maybe that's a good point. I would be interested to see how it plays out the rest of the year. If he, if there's never another issue, if we get to the end of the season and he's got like an extra whatever that he missed. But yeah, but all that to say, no, I don't think he's having a whole lot of fun this year.
Jason, on the whole liking a team, I bet you if you polled all 365 of Division I college basketball, I bet it'd be an overwhelming majority if they told the truth of, no, I don't like this team right now. And as an old coach told me one time, I don't want them liking me right now. This is a little bit like going to Paris Island for the Marines. I want to tear them down and them despise me, and I start that build-up in conference about 20th of February and into March, and that's when I want them thinking I'm their best buddy.
Yeah, I mean, so Zach Davis talked after the North Texas game. He was asked, about some of this stuff that's been said and some of the stuff that we've seen, and like, Penny has said a couple of times, I think, in interviews that that the guys don't really like him like the way he coaches them necessarily. And whether or not he's okay with that, I don't know. But he's obviously more than like, it doesn't matter to him. He's going to do it anyway. And when we talked to Zach the other day, he was like, "Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun when Penny like doesn't take his foot off the gas." And you know, he was I thought very frank in the way he's handled this. Is like, a man's got to do what a man's got to do to get through the day. And like, I think that's where he's at. And I don't think he's just speaking for himself. I think there are a lot of guys on this team who just didn't exactly think it was going to be this way, where Penny was going to be so adamant that, like, this is how if you're going to play here, this is how you have to play. Mm-hmm. And there's just seems to be a lot of headbutting going on between some of the guys and Penny. And I think we are just at the stage right now where it's like, let's just, I don't think either one of us, either side, is particularly happy about the situation right now, but there's a couple more months left in the season. Let's just get through it, and we'll and hope nothing, hope we're all still, hopefully everything's okay at the end of that.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking about this team offensively and the shooting performance against North Texas. I think the most concerning thing from that game against North Texas, I know you were tweeting about it, you were noticing it, but there were a lot of times where, Memphis would get in the half court, North Texas would start trapping, and everybody else was just kind of standing around. Nobody was moving to the ball to help out the ball handler. There was at least once, maybe twice, where Memphis was trying to inbound it, and it's not like North Texas was throwing a super heavy press and they couldn't get the ball in. What are you making of some of these things that are kind of aside from the shooting and different things of just, it doesn't feel like guys are on the same page right now?
Honest question, Bryant. Was I the only one that was noticing that? Like,
no.
Did you notice that before I was tweeting that stuff?
I noticed it, and I was at the game, and I even heard a person sitting in front of me screaming, standing up and screaming, "Somebody go and help them!" And so
go to the ball.
I do think other people were noticing, and it felt like, I know this is aside from what we're talking about right now, it felt like the atmosphere at FedEx Forum throughout that game was very uneasy the entire way through.
It felt restless watching on television.
It was.
Yeah, if it wasn't stale, it was restless.
Yes.
And I don't know if part of that is like, hey, it's New Year's Eve, hey, it's 3:00 in the afternoon, this is kind of weird.
Yeah.
We haven't played a game in 9 days or whatever, so there's that part of it too, and so but at the same time, no, like, it was bizarre to me. Like, I'll give you one play where somebody gets trapped, or there's a inbound situation like you were saying that's like, it's tough to get the ball in or whatever, but like, they had to take a 5-sec. They turned the ball over because Ashton couldn't get the ball. I think it was Ashton.
Yeah.
Couldn't get the ball in bounds because nobody was coming back to help him. And so, I asked Penny after the game. I was like, listen, like, how do you reconcile those sorts of things? The body language, the lack of hustle at times, so much so that it's resulting in multiple turnovers. Like, how do you reconcile the fact that you just won a game by almost double digits? Like, you were never in danger of losing that game. Let's be honest. Like, it was a wire-to-wire win, and they were never in danger of losing it. Part of that was the fact that North Texas was, like, abysmal from the three-point line. They were 1 of 18, so they were terrible shooting the ball. But, like, how do you, so you win handily. It was convincing. You have this, like, a defensive performance that doesn't come along very often. But at the same time, there are these issues that are still just, like, really obvious, even to just the casual observer. How do you reconcile these two things? And he was like, he's like, I don't really know what to say at this point other than if we have to, if it takes winning ugly just to win, I'm okay with that. And that's not exactly an answer to the question that I asked. That wasn't exactly what I was asking for. I was more so asking like about the bad body language and about the walking and about the lack of hustle and those sorts of things. But I just think that's where he's at. I mean, honestly, they're 6-7, and he is just taking what he can get at this point. It feels like.
No, he really.
And I
is.
just did the 6-7 to Brian. I think it caught him by surprise.
It did. It kind of threw me off my game there for a
I didn't
second.
mean to do that. I'm sorry.
We got to leave 6-7 and 25, don't we?
I don't think it's going to be left there, unfortunately.
That's a bummer.
Jason, Thierno Silla missed the game with an injury. What can you tell us about that injury? Is that something that where he's going to miss multiple games, or was that kind of a one-game thing?
No, it was minor. I think he'll be back, or at least available tomorrow at Rice. It was listed as a shoulder situation, or like a shoulder injury. I think he'll be available tomorrow. It sounds like Zach Davis may have, just kind of gotten. Like it sounds like he's less than 100%. I don't think that there's anything like specific going on with Jack right now. He's just a little bit less than 100%. So I feel like he might be one of those, we'll see tomorrow, like game time decision type deals tomorrow. But everything else is, from an injury standpoint, is fine.
Jason, I'm not worried about the outcome tomorrow. I think the only thing in doubt is the margin of the Tiger victory. I am concerned about next Wednesday night, and the Tigers will face Temple before we visit with you again. Temple 9-5. I am very concerned about that, and the optics of the restless crowd at North Texas could turn from restless to really irate with a home loss.
Yeah, actually, I think the the Temple game is. I don't think they have a midweek game next week. I think they go from.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. FAU is the next game.
Yeah,
a week from Sunday. Okay, so a good respite before at home. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they do get a little break before they come back home, but I think your point still stands that that's not. I mean, yeah, okay. So North Texas was not a strong test, shall we say? And I don't think Rice will be either. But FAU, I'm afraid, is a very capable team, and that is going to be on the road down in Boca next Sunday. So. They play tomorrow, and then 8 days later they go down to Boca Raton, and so that is going to be. I forget who they played. They just beat somebody really by 30 or 40 points the other day, and it may have been UTSA, which doesn't say much because UTSA
did by 40.
Yeah, UTSA might. It's going to be between UTSA and Rice, I think, for the worst team in the
that's
conference.
a Donnybrook, isn't it?
Yeah. But no, I think that's going to be, like the first real test for Memphis. It's on the road. It's John Jacobs. I think he's going into his third year as coach down there, and he's everybody likes him. Everybody talks really, really well about him and his coaching ability. So it's they're going to find out real quick. Memphis is what they're made of, and then like you said, they come back home for Temple, and that's they're not a pushover, and so Memphis better get their stuff tightened up here real quick.
Yeah, well, we'll see what it looks like tomorrow against Rice. Like you mentioned, Rice, the big losers to start conference play against
49.
Tulsa. Yeah, no, that is not easy to do. But Jason, as always, thanks so much for joining us. We'll talk to you again next Friday.
And be safe. Thank you, Jason.
Thanks, Jason.
Be very safe out there. I know he's got a couple airports he's got to trump through. Jason Munn's with us every Friday. We'll be through the NCAA tournament talking Tigers basketball. It's presented by Jim's Place Grill and the crowd New Year's Eve at Jim's Place. I talked to James Terrace, and he said they were packed from 3:30 on, and it really festive. fun time. They want to thank everyone for all these years of the great customer loyalty that they have developed, and they've developed it over 100 years of those great charcoal grill steaks, 100 years of celebrations like the holidays we just went through, and family time, and lasting great memories. And we're going to have all that in 2026, that family time and celebrations and lasting memories. The Terrace family with their touch for our community, with recipes that date back to the beginning in downtown to now in Collierville at the railroad tracks at Poplar and Houston Levee. Online at jimsplacegrill.com. If by some chance you got the wrong gift for Christmas, get that gift card there, and don't forget the E in grill when you go online and purchase those gift cards. Every steak grilled perfectly over an open flame. Come to Jim's Place and taste and see and feel the difference. Lunch hours Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and dinner time. The hours are Monday through Saturday. The hours are 5 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Since 1921, a Memphis landmark that's combined hard work, values, and a dedication to their diners. The Terrace family, they've created that memorable dining experience. At lunch, the staples like the souffle mayo, the shrimp cocktail, the crab cakes, and those salad dressings, all homemade. And at dinner, the soups, the seafood, the calamari, and those steaks like the ribeyes, the strips, and the fillets, and the great bar area, all at Jim's Place Grill in Collierville. And they bring you Jason Munns every Friday from the Commercial Appeal.
Well, I've been looking. It does not look like we have a line just quite yet for the Memphis and Rice game. I believe something like 130 college basketball games tomorrow. So obviously a lot of lines that the bookmakers
great conference
have to do.
Games tonight.
Yeah, there's some really good games tonight. Really good games tomorrow, and pretty much
we'll do Bancroft there, and we'll be honest about it.
Oh no, we're always very honest about it. But it looks like all the big games for tomorrow, those lines are starting to roll out, and so it looks like they were getting those up there first, and then they'll kind of start going through.
Good conference schedule tonight around the country.
No, there is, and a couple games on Peacock tonight in the Big Ten. I know we were talking about it earlier. Michigan in a ranked matchup against USC, a 22.5-point favorite tonight, which is just unheard of to see a ranked-on-ranked matchup.
See, Kyle Whittingham's already turning around Michigan.
Right, yes,
no,
already.
That's Dusty May gets that credit.
And he has done a terrific job. You got Michigan State, Nebraska later tonight as well. Ohio State, Rutgers, some really good games in the Big Ten tonight.
You think of in the last 2 years, you go from Jawan Howard and Sharon Moore to Dusty May and Kyle Whittingham.
Pretty good.
That could keep Ward Manuel in a job. I don't think it should, because he was the common denominator in the dysfunction, but that could.
No, it definitely could. And right now that basketball program is rolling. We feel like with Kyle Whittingham, the football team will be in good hands as well. We're about to get to another break. Before we do that, let me remind you about our 5 o'clock sponsor. It's Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Jaguar Bluff City has been the premier Jaguar dealership for the greater Memphis area since 1984, and their talented team is ready to help you find your next perfect vehicle at unbeatable rates. Swing by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City today and check out those brand new models like the Range Rover Sport, the Range Rover Velar, and the Defender. Test drive the Range Rover Sport, where luxury meets performance. Perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility, with options ranging from 360 horsepower up to 635. It's also available as a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with $7,500 federal tax credit when leased with approved credit. Check out the Range Rover Velar, powered by mild hybrid technology and enhanced with the latest well-being features and fully connected entertainment system. The Range Rover Velar is the ultimate luxury compact crossover. Purchase yours today and get special 4.4% for 72 months financing available with approved credit. Don't forget about the Defender. Available in multiple models to fit your needs, the Defender is built for the modern explorer, and Jaguar Bluff City is offering special interest rates for 60 and 72 months on various models. Give them a call, 877-259-6169. Go online to JaguarBluffCity.com. But head out there, test drive these vehicles. 6335 Wheel Cove, just off of Quince for Bluff City Jaguar. Well, let's get to another break, and when we return, we have to pick some games. It'll be time for our First National Bank and Trust Friday football forecast.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Hi, it's the Herd. 'Tis the season for identity theft. This time of year, most of us are checking off our holiday gift lists, but guess what? Identity thieves have lists too, and your personal info might be on them. Protect your identity with LifeLock. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second, alerts you to threats you could miss by yourself, even if you keep an eye on your bank and credit card statements. If your identity is stolen, your own U.S.-based restoration specialist at LifeLock works to fix it, guaranteed your money back. And all plans are backed by the $1 Million Protection Package. The last thing you want to do this holiday season is face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or other financial losses from identity theft all alone. Make this season about joy, not identity theft with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year at LifeLock.com with the promo code HERD. Promo code HERD at LifeLock.com to save up to 40%. Terms apply.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-384-7878. That's 800-384-7878. 800-384-7878.
Top Gun is the largest indoor range in the Mid-South, but size isn't their only difference. Top Gun has the best instructors with over 300 years combined experience and classes all the way from first shot to master marksmanship. Plus, Top Gun is affordable. Gold membership is just $48 a month. That's just $1.60 a day for unlimited range time, free gun rentals with purchase of ammo, and members lounge access. Top Gun, 2770 Witten Road and TopGunMemphis.com. Always shoot with the best. Top Gun Memphis.
Napa Cafe celebrates 28 years in 2026.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. If you are a first-time guest or have dined with us countless times, I want to thank you for making us part of your lives. Whether you're celebrating with the crowd or planning a cozy date night on the town, Napa Cafe can provide you an extraordinary evening. We have 5 dining rooms, including our private wine cellar, our Jan's room for 2 guests, and the Eleanor room for parties up to 60. Sit back, relax, and celebrate. Leave the cooking to us. Come see me at Napa Cafe, 5101 Sanderlin Avenue. We're open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. We also offer curbside pickup from our full menu. For details on our stay-in, dine-out menu or reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. We can't wait to serve you.
Come join in and celebrate 28 years of Napa Cafe in 2026.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Here comes the hero man.
Friday football forecast from First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. Real estate isn't something you purchase or develop or desire. It's something you appreciate, respect, and know. With real estate, there's no gray area. You either know it or you don't. First National Bank and Trust, a proud division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. They've known it since their beginning in 1886. Clients depend on First National Bank because they know real estate. Brooks Winchester, Bill Samish, and many more can assist you in your acquisition of that hunting land, farmland, a construction project. Let First National Bank and Trust make your dreams a reality. 775 Ridge Lake Boulevard, Suite 140 in Memphis, 901-498-5763, or the office in Collierville, or online at fnbtmemphis.com. For commercial real estate, residential construction, or recreational and agriculture financing, let First National Bank and Trust help you. They're a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, where I have had an account, been a friend, and been a customer my entire life.
Happy New Year from everyone at First National Bank and Trust, with both the offices in Memphis on Ridge Lake and in Collierville, and from everyone from First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. Hundreds of years collectively of lending experience at both places, where customer confidence remains their cornerstone through all these years. We will go all the way through the AFC and NFC championship games with Friday football forecast from First National Bank and Trust, and then we'll have a special edition the Friday preceding Super Bowl 60. Not a lot of college games left to pick, is it? It's kind of sad, isn't it?
Yeah, no, we are winding down the bowl games, and so, 2 more bowl games, and that's it. That's kind of crazy to believe.
Then the semis and the finals.
Yeah.
On the bowl picks, I am 22-18. Landon is 20-20. Bryant, you are 19-21. Right. The favorite? Huh? What was that?
I was just saying 2020 division.
Very, very good. Almost like 6-7, right?
That's right. Maybe not.
No, not quite. Favorites after 40 games, 2020.
Wow.
Dog 2020, favorites 2020. The over 19-21, 48%. The under 21-19, 52%. Brian, if I told you one team between rushing and passing, one is 50% and one is 70%, which one would you think was which?
I would say rushing is 70%.
Rushing is 70%, 28-12, a little down. Yeah. Passing 20-20, 50%. So rushing will win, but not. I usually promise around 75%. I don't know that it can get there. Like last night, Ole Miss did not win the rushing battle, but they won the passing, and the team that wins the game usually wins the rushing battle. Tonight on Fox. Can we have a bowl game not on ESPN? Yeah, we got one on Fox.
Yeah.
At Snapdragon Stadium in San Diego, the Trust and Will Holiday Bowl. Arizona with Brent Brennan as head coach and their quarterback back, Noah Fifita, and against SMU with their coach staying. Rhett Lashley announced he's staying at SMU. Kevin Jennings feels like he's been there a while. I'm going to lay the 2.5 and take Arizona. Landon.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And you said it, Noah Fifita and this offense for Arizona is just a little bit more exciting for me than on the other side of the ball. So I'm going to go with Arizona here.
You said it much better than I didn't get Fifita out very well. You said it much better than I did. All right, group locking. Our group locks on bowls only this year. We are 6-9 on group locks, including one earlier today. All of us right on Texas State.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to be a group lock. I'm going to go with SMU plus that 2.5. I don't know if I really have a rhyme or reason in this game, but I do like this SMU team. I think they've been up and down all season, but I think they can get it done here now. It's going to be more of a travel for SMU, but the way that a lot of these games are going, I would not be surprised with anything. I would certainly not be surprised if SMU wins this game outright. So give me the Mustangs here plus that 2.5.
Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock on ESPN from the home of the Panthers in downtown Charlotte, Bank of America Stadium, the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Mississippi State's in a bowl game?
That? Yeah.
I thought they had to win to get bowl eligibility at the Egg Bowl. That was part of it, wasn't it?
No, of course not, Brett.
How did they get in?
There's always room to rewrite the rules.
When you don't have enough teams, you got to go and add some. That's what we did with State.
And they're favored over,
weird.
I think, a very well-coached Jake Dickert Wake Forest team. What he took over, I saw it in person the season of 2024 when Ole Miss played out at Winston-Salem. He's done a good job. State minus 3.5. I'm going to take the points in 3.5 in Wake.
Yeah, I'm going to take
Landon?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Landon.
Either one.
Yeah.
No, please go ahead, Landon.
Okay, fine. Yeah, I'm actually going to go with Wake Forest here because SEC has not been doing very well in the bowls. I believe there's only 3 teams that have won from the SEC: Ole Miss, Alabama, and Texas in the Citrus Bowl. So I don't expect that to continue. So I'm going Wake Forest.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Wake Forest as well. Make it a group lock. I'll take them plus that 3.5. Kind of in their backyard in Charlotte. Obviously, they're the team that got bowl eligible. I don't know what the number is with these 5 and 7 teams that are in the bowl games. We saw Rice earlier, a 5-win team. They lost. I remember what was it? There was another team that I remember watching earlier in bowl season that was a 5-win team.
Appalachian State, I think.
I think it was Appalachian State. They lost
to Georgia Southern.
I'm gonna keep with that trend. I don't know if I got all the 5-win teams in there, but I'll go with this trend and I will back Wake Forest.
And Landon mentioned Texas and their really great performance. How great Arch Manning looked. Here we go again. If you thought last summer was Arch Madness and summertime hype, and this is a good question that we will talk about a lot in summer of 2026. If Trinidad Chambliss is granted another year of eligibility, regardless of where he goes, I think he'll stay at Ole Miss. Shouldn't he have more hype than Arch?
Yeah, no, I think he should, and I think he, I don't know if I should say he will because of that last name carries a lot of weight, but I've already heard some people saying, I think I don't remember who I heard it this morning say it, but I heard somebody say next year if Trinidad Chambliss gets a waiver, it's going to be a 2-horse race for the Heisman Trophy between those two. So I think the hype machine already starting to roll for him.
I heard Wes Durham this morning on satellite radio say that going into next year, the 3 kings of the SEC should be Georgia, Texas, and Texas A&M. Should somebody let Wes know what's happened the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, that'd be nice, but I don't know. Maybe he fell asleep before the end of the game last.
Why do we have that built-in bias for A&M and Texas?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess everything's bigger in Texas, Brett. I don't know.
I guess so, including the bias and hype.
That's right.
NFL starts tomorrow afternoon, 3:30 on ABC and ESPN. Tampa Bay minus 3.5 over Carolina. Winners in, losers out. Give me Carolina plus the 3.5 to get the straight up win. Landon.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I know that this game is not being played at home where the Panthers have a lot of success, but I think the Panthers are fighting for that playoff spot, even in a wild card spot, so I'm going to go with them to win.
Bryant, group lock?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Carolina here, plus the 3.5. I don't know if they win the game. I think they certainly cover. We were talking with Alan Bell earlier, and he said everything I am thinking about this game. I just cannot go with Tampa Bay. I cannot trust them. The way they've been playing down the stretch this season.
Kind of checked out.
Really, I don't know what exactly the issue has been over the second half of the season, but they've been really, really bad. So I'm going to go with Carolina here. I mean, nothing Carolina would want more after the last couple of seasons to go out there, win this game, get into the playoffs. So I think they get it done.
Tomorrow night in a game that will impact seeding, 7 o'clock on ABC, ESPN, Seattle minus 1.5 over San Francisco. I hope I sent y'all the right spread. Earlier in the week it was San Francisco minus 1.5, but we're going on Seattle minus the 1.5. Brian.
Yeah, you sent us the right one, and I'm going to go with the 49ers plus 1.5. I'm going to take them to win the game. I know that we might see some different guys. This is a game that I've heard a lot of people talking about who might play, who
could
might
look
not
like
play.
August football in the NFL.
It could, but I think this kind of goes back to what we talk about with that offensive system. It feels like it works for a lot of different guys in San Francisco. So I think not only do they cover this 1.5, I think they win the game outright.
Landon?
Yeah, I'm right there with them. I think this is going to be a really good game between both of these high-caliber teams, but I think the 49ers just edge it out over the Seahawks.
I like 49ers minus the 1.5. I sure did when it popped up today, getting the points. On Sunday, 325, Denver minus 12.5. That's a big NFL line. Again, some of these games are going to look like a Thursday night in August preseason game over the Los Angeles Chargers. Denver 12.5. Bryant.
Yeah, I wrote it down wrong. I put Denver plus 12.5. I meant Denver minus 12.5. I'm going to take Denver to win this one big. I don't know. I haven't really looked at who.
The holiday season's over. I'm not giving you Denver plus 12.
No. Yeah,
that was 2 weeks ago. Season of giving.
That would be insane. But I am going to take Denver. I think I'm just going to back. There's obviously a reason this number is so big. So I'll take Denver. I'll take them with all those points.
I'm going to go against you. I'm going to take the Chargers, basically their backups, plus the 12.5. Landon.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Brett. I'm going with the Chargers as well because no matter really who the Broncos play, they don't win by big margins. They win by a field goal. They win by maybe a touchdown. That point spread is well within that margin, so I'm going with the Chargers.
Bears at 325 on CBS in a great season. Ben Johnson just proving what everybody thought he would be, and he's doing it with Caleb Williams in his second year. Rookie coach, second-year quarterback. They could have some staying power. Minus 3.5 over Detroit. Detroit missed their shot 2 years ago, but I'm going to take a shot on them and take the 3.5 Lions plus the 3.5 Bryant.
Yeah, I'll take the Lions as well. It's been a weird season for Detroit all year, but hey, they're now facing their former offensive coordinator. I do think the way that team plays, kind of the identity of that Detroit Lions team, I don't think they're going to give up even in the final week of the season. So I will take Detroit plus that 3.5.
Yeah, big-time group block on the Lions this week.
3 group blocks in the pros.
It may prove to be fatal, but I just believe in the Lions. I feel like they're going to finish out strong. I don't think Dan Campbell's going to allow them to lie down, but if they do lie down, they'll get back up and bite off a knee.
Hurry up, no huddle time. We got to finish strong. Sunday night, 7:20, Sunday Night Football on NBC. Baltimore minus 3.5 at Pittsburgh. We know all the questions around the coaches. Last game potentially for a lot of the players. Give me the Steelers plus the 3.5, Bryant.
Yeah, I'm taking the Steelers plus 3.5 all day.
Landon.
Well, the best case scenario for the Steelers was 9-8, and they achieved that. I'm going Ravens.
They love going just a little above 500. Can't finish well, they can. They could at 8-1. That might be what they do next year. Lock for me, NFL. Dallas minus 3.5 at New York. Shock for me, Indianapolis and all those points, 10.5 at Houston. Bryant.
I'm with you on the lock. I'm going to go. This is the week 18. You don't really know who's playing on what team. So I just said, why not? I'd like to take the lock as the Dallas Cowboys. So I'll take the Cowboys minus 3.5 over the Giants.
I'm shocked by your lock.
Yeah, no, I'm sure everybody is shocked by my lock. But my shock, I am going to go with the Browns plus 7.5 over the Bengals. We saw the Browns get the win last week, and I just can't trust this Bengals team. So I will take the Browns to keep it within a touchdown.
Yeah, my lock, I'm going with the Eagles minus that 4.5 against Washington. Washington really just doesn't have anything to play for anymore, so I think the Eagles finish strong. My shock this week, I'm going Packers plus 8.5 against the Vikings. Kind of the same reasoning with the Vikings. I just don't think they are really going out there to try to prove anything, so I think the Packers win it upright.
There's a lot of teams wanting to get to all zeros on that scoreboard Sunday, and it's rare for the NFL to have a mail-it-in last weekend of the year. It looks like goofy preseason game. That was our Friday football forecast brought to you every week by our great friends at First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. For anything real estate, whether it's agriculture, hunting, commercial, recreational, contact them at fnbt.com or call them at 901-498-5763. They build relationships.
Well, let's get to our final break of the day, and when we return, we'll wrap up today's show. We'll wrap up this week with Mo's Crunch Time.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Napa Cafe celebrates 28 years in 2026.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings. owner of Napa Cafe, and I'm inviting you over for dinner. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner of scrumptious combinations. Fresh salads, homemade soups, or maybe start with an appetizer like our baked Dungeness crab dip with manchego cheese, lemon, garlic, and French baguette toast. Drift into one of our fresh seafood dishes like the caramelized sea scallops with curry beurre blanc, black forbidden rice, and Thai mango salad, or our ancho honey glazed salmon with creamy black bean puree, avocado pico de gallo, and jalapeno crema. Maybe you're looking for something cozy and comforting like our Duroc pork chop with apple brandy demi-glaze and blue cheese bacon mashed potatoes. We have something for everyone. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. I'd sure love to see you.
Come join in and celebrate 28 years of Napa Cafe in 2026.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With over 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Only available with TurboTax experts. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app.
Today's fun fact, the Malco Theater's popcorn you crave is now available during Grizzlies games at the FedEx Forum. Be sure to grab an extra bag for the post-game drive home. Need more? Order online at malco.com.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Moe's Southwest Grill. Need a crunchy bite to eat? Head to Moe's for nachos, crunch wraps, tacos, salads, and more. Moe's.com is your go-to for all your taco crunch time emergencies.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Say you stand by your man. Tell me something.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This game has always been called the world's greatest cocktail party. Do you know what is going to happen here tonight?
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that?
Crunch time between the hedges.
The ball game is over, and Memphis has its first win in 16 tries. Its first win ever against its fierce in-state rival Tennessee.
Goodbye!
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Moe's Southwest Grill. Need catering? Moe's Taco Truck is always ready to cater for you. Just give Jenny Nash a call at 901-606-3172. Moe's.com is your go-to for all your taco crunch time emergencies. Well, Brett, what I learned today is the semifinals are set for the college football playoffs. Miami and Ole Miss will meet in a week in the Fiesta Bowl, 6:30 kickoff set to be on ESPN. And then the next night, we'll have Oregon and Indiana in the Peach Bowl down in Atlanta. So two really interesting matchups. I know it feels like talking to Alan Bell, talking to Bruce Marshall, hearing some other people talk about these matchups, kind of early takes on these matchups. It feels like everyone feels better about what they think in the Oregon-Indiana game than what they think in the Miami-Ole Miss game. Everyone's kind of like, I don't really know what to do yet with this Miami-Ole Miss game, which should mean it's going to be a really fun game.
That's kind of been Ole Miss all year, though.
It really has.
Kind of what to do with them. They won a lot of close games on a magic carpet ride, and that's what I learned today, Brian. You know it would take something extraordinary for it to join this club. But last night in New Orleans, joined the David Freese Game 6 home run club for me, for my favorite sports night of my life, the greatest memory of my life. I always wondered what would join it. And I even said one time over these airwaves, I think it would be an Ole Miss last-second field goal in the Sugar Bowl.
Well,
now, I didn't know the Sugar Bowl was going to be a quarterfinal game and lose and go home. But last night, it did it for me. That was some kind of special. I can't wait to go to my first Fiesta Bowl ever. I've been to a Super Bowl in that stadium, but never to a Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah, going to be a lot of fun for sure. What I could have done without today, and you mentioned it earlier, but it's the overreactions about the transfer portal. Look, I'm not going to sit here and act like what the transfer portal is right now is really even good. You know, it is. We're in a weird spot in college athletics, college football. But some people that are making it sound like this is the end of the world, it's the end of college athletics, it's the end of college football, it's nowhere near that. Yes, there's a lot of players that have entered the portal that are looking for a new place to play, but you know, a lot of places aren't like what we're seeing at Memphis. We understand the situation at Memphis. A completely new coaching staff, a coaching change. A lot of players have left. A lot of players will be brought in, but a lot of places aren't like that. And so, yes, we're in a weird spot, but I think some of the overreaction is just a little too far from what it is actually, what's actually going on right now.
Well, I could have done without this pitiful weather that the people at the Liberty Bowl had to sit through today, the ones that are there and what they're going through. So it's not, bone cold out there today, but one of the rainiest that I can remember since 1990, Air Force and Ohio State. I went to a real rainy, cold one in 79, Penn State in Tulane. This is one of the all-time miserable games, but remember who was in the Liberty Bowl last year? Mm-hmm. The defeated team was Texas Tech.
That's right, yeah.
And look how they turned it around.
Yeah, so maybe we'll see something similar with one of these teams, and if it's going to be the same game plan from last year, that would mean Cincinnati maybe next year a college football playoff run for them. Where are you beaming this weekend?
Beam me to watching all these NFL games. I think I would like to go to a couple of those tomorrow. The Saturday in the NFL is really good tomorrow. Tonight, the Grizzlies in Los Angeles. I'd take that. I was texting with Rob last night, late.
Oh yeah.
They were enjoying the Ole Miss game out on the left coast. Give me that. The Tigers need to take care of business tomorrow at Rice.
Yeah, no, that's going to be an interesting one to watch tomorrow. But being me to tonight, we've already mentioned it a couple times, but number 24 USC on the road at number 2 Michigan, a top 25 matchup, but Michigan, a 22.5-point favorite tonight. You never see a line like that in a ranked-on-ranked matchup. So let's see how that game plays out tonight.
I promise to get my college basketball hat more on this weekend. I'm really going to try to watch and enjoy some games. It's time. We're into conference play.
Yeah, this is the time to do it with kind of all the college football behind us and now into conference play. I know SEC gets kicked off tomorrow with some really fun matchups, so should be a really fun weekend with the rest of these bowl games, with the NFL, with the college basketball, the NBA, a ton to watch. But that's all the time we have. Enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you again on Monday.